Black Betterment banter. All right. Cool. And we started. Let's see if we started. I think we might have. Yep. 12 seconds live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Betterment banter. I'm your host, Rap Raven. We are on Titans TV. Big up to Titans TV for giving us space. This is our second episode. So tell your friends to tell a friend we are live. I'm your host, Rap Raven. Today is Black Betterment Banter Day. We're going to do this every Thursday, 10 o'clock. We're just testing to see if it works. And we're going to go through the stages. We have a fantastic show today. But you know what? I didn't actually do the... Did I do... I'm trying to think if I did the thing. So you got to forgive me, guys. I've been literally rushing around all day. I'll tell you the story later, whatever. But we'll go for it, right? So let's see. So here's how we're going to always start, as we normally always do. Let me find our fantastic PDF that should... Oh, it works. Okay, cool. Let me go back. Oh, how much back is this guy going? Hold on. That is back. Hold on. Is it? Am I going back or am I going forward? Sorry, friend. This is looks a bit different. It doesn't look like how it normally is. Okay, that's the first one. All right, cool. That makes sense. Yeah. Sorry about that. Technology. Hey, tell your friends we're live. Jump in and all that good stuff. So don't forget to follow the Black Betterment Building Instagram. We use that to promote our show. And let's go. Okay, so we're gonna start. We always start, for those who don't know, and that's like so. We always start with the three starting statements, right? And the very important statements when it comes to Black Betterment, and that is when it comes to working as a collective with only Black people, matters that benefit Black issues, Black progression, and Black ownership. Unfortunately, Black people are collectively inadequate. This is a problem. This is we can debate that today if we need to. Second one that's also important. Individually, you might find a non-Black person who shows some kind of camaraderie towards Black people. However, collectively, Black people have no friends. Yeah, it's one of those horrible things, but yeah. Most important as well, constructive Black man with constructive Black woman makes a constructive Black family. Don't forget that. Let's not forget that. Cool. All right. So we're going to go through as we normally go through. When we give out the link, last time no one jumped on, which is, brother Kel jumped on. That is true, sorry. But no one else jumped on, but you're also welcome to jump on. But when you do, we try to uphold these kind of principles, and that is the 4D values. So that's discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment. Let us not forget that, if we can. It's not using the kind of strong language, derogatory language, please. Let's use descriptive language, and you can see them on the board here. You can see them, the ones we should be using more or less of those. Let's do that. Makes sense, right? When you jump in live, that's what it is. So please don't forget that. Now, for those who don't know, some of you who are new to Black Betterment, you're probably pondering in yourself, what is Black Betterment? What is it? Well, Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people on Black issues, for betterment. Let me make sure I got the chat on there. And there you go, right? That's what it is. So Black Betterment is a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. That's what it is, right? We won't break down that. We might come back to that in a bit, but where are we? So yeah, so let me go back to the thing. So our topic for today, and you must forgive me, I was gonna gather some content together the front, but I've been literally, what happened is my friend rang me. He says he needs help catching a mice. I was like, oh, this is, catch a mouse, right? So we had this diabolical plan that we're gonna go to another friend, borrow his cat to put in the house to chase the mice out the house. We go get the cat, and the cat then runs away. So now we're trying to find the cat. We're jumping the wall to find the cat. It is long, and I've just got back now. I've even got a baseball bat, just trying to catch it. It's a lot. So I haven't really had time to do the paperwork that I'm meant to do. 1,000 forgivenesses. But that's what happens when you try to help a friend catch a mice. What's going on? Anyway, yeah, so today's topic, we got two topics. I think, if I can remember correctly, because I haven't actually penned up here, first topic was Black health, very important. And oh yeah, Black people have no friends. Black people don't need no friends. Black people have no allies or don't need allies, something like that. I'll check it in a minute. So we're gonna first. This comes from I went to Speaker's Corner, and the topic was Black health, and the areas that we were talking about was blood pressure. And I was letting people know that when I was looking at the in the UK, this is when I was looking at the NHS, and the NHS was talking about things that bring up high blood pressure. And towards the bottom, you can check it yourself. It said the second from last was being I think in a poor area, if you're from a poor background. And the last one was being black or Caribbean, or African Caribbean, or black African, Afro, whatever term they're using. Right? So they're saying that these two things are more likely to have to increase your blood pressure, whatever that means, right? And as you know, many Caribbean people, and I think in African America, they might be the same as well, especially in the UK, blood pressure is an issue. So we said Black Health has to be something because we cover all areas of activity, and we always want to make sure we try to help Black people in every single constructive way. Let me just turn my phone off. And yeah, it's so we're going to go there. So the first thing is, let's break down blood pressure and stuff. So basically what happens is, now I'm going to see if I can actually give a chart. Forgive me if this goes terribly right or wrong. Shit, stop. Voila. Share screen. Let's present. Share screen. I think it's here. Oh, look at that. Let's see if this works. This might make it easier, to be honest. Oh, that makes it easier. What I can do as well is let me find a picture of something else. When you try to do something and everything starts popping up. If you're live, say hi. Just so if you're willing to work with Black people to help Black people, let me know in the comments. I think I'm in the comment section. Let us know. But yeah, so what we have in the chart here is a blood pressure chart, right? And basically, when you actually go to the doctors, let me copy. This is very helpful. This is so helpful. I'm going to copy paste this. Look at this. So I didn't really need to do the designs. I can just use the internet. Fantastic. Let me click on one of these. Let's see if I can make the biggest one. Give me 5 seconds to find a fantastic picture for you. Just so you can see what I'm saying, so you don't think I'm chatting rubbish. Naturally, when you click on things, it takes forever to scale. That looks good, except, and I'm going to zoom in. Oh, yeah. So, where are we? So those who don't know, when you go to doctors and you get your blood pressure test, I think it's C now. Is it C? Hold on. There it is. Yeah, they give you this. So basically, put it on your arm, right? And they go, it starts squeezing your arm and gives you a actual reading, for those who don't know. And you get 3 readings, right? The first 2 is the one we're going to focus on. And this is how they test and see if you have high blood pressure, you see? So there's your first number, the SYS, and the second is the DIA, and then I think that's your blood pulse at the bottom. So we ignore that for now, although it's important, right? So on the charts, as you can see here, that's not charts, that's a chart. They're saying that if that first number is above 120, according to them, you're pre-high blood pressure, and then if it goes to 140, you have high blood pressure, right? Now, blood pressure keeps changing up and down, so sometimes if they get a high reading, they'll want to check again, and then they want to give you like an all-day test just to make sure, but they'll be concerned by that point. Now, obviously, the things that cause high blood pressure, stress, which a lot of brothers and sisters on, so we say trying to be stressful. But outside of that, which is what we're going to cover, is eating habits. You see, it's not drinking enough water, the basic one there, not sleeping enough, which is you got to try to get enough sleep. But then when it comes to the actual consumption, it's the salt intake. Ooh, so you don't know. So for those brothers and sisters, African Americans, Afro Caribbeans, and Africans as well, the foods we eat and the way we eat it, somehow there's lots of salt, right? So what we're saying is that there's ways to minimize salt. So when you put things in a can, this can actually add a lot of salt, right? And more salt makes your blood could potentially make your blood pressure go up. So we're saying that rather than getting things from a can or processed things, which have a whole lot of preservatives and salt, try to make things fresh whenever you can, as much as possible. I know it's hard, but this is what we're saying. What it is when we eat fruits and vegetables, it has a thing called potassium, and the idea is to have a high amount of potassium and a low amount of sodium. I think they say you have to have 6 grams of salt a day, and a lot of us go way past that. And you can check, because when you check around, it says how much salt is in things. You can add it up, right? That sounds very scary. So we go back to the charts. Where is it? There. So the first one is to be 120, and the second one has to be, if the chart is correct, let me delete all this crap there because it's getting on those. Has to be, says here, you see here, 90. So if it's above 90 or 140, then you, my friend, have high blood pressure according to this chart, and you want to drastically start training, exercising. Of course, they say 3 hours a week is minimum. Jogging, weights, whatever. Trying to keep active. Very important. Very important. Please do not forget to do that. I'm wondering if I can't be bothered. I was going to go into play some videos, but no. But anyway, that's a very, by the way, fam, this might be a very, very quick show because I've literally come from something and I haven't set up stuff, so I've got to sort things out. But because the idea of this show is to banter, right? What I'm going to do, just when you guys feel like, if you feel like it, click in if you want to jump in and talk about the two topics. So the two topics are, I'm sorry I haven't got the design to show it, whatever. Black health, and we're talking about blood pressure and diabetes, but more so what we're eating, foods we can consume. So we want to get more green vegetables, right? We want to get a high plate of let's call it plate arrangement. I think it's I forgot what they call it. Plate arrangement. Let's say plants. Let's see if you must be. I don't normally Google stuff. I usually have a whole presentation set, but I've come from somewhere. So naturally, me Googling isn't finding nothing. How healthy food arrangement. If you can know what I'm typing, just let me know. Arrangement. I can't see it. Nah, it's whatever. It's talking about things being too expensive. But generally, what they say is you want to be splitting up to like 50%. Oh, this was cool. Oh, this is looking cool, right? All right, yeah, let me use this. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to show you this now. So when you're making your food, let me know if this is what you're doing at home at the moment. Oh, where is it, Granddad? There we go. So when you're making your food at home, they say that there's a percentage you want to be having. So let's see if we can break down a percentage for you guys today. We're talking about black health today. Unfortunately, black people suffer with, in some areas of many, not too healthy. So we're gonna do that. So yeah, they say you want to split your plate with. So look at that fantastic picture, which I can't see. There we go. Look at that. I was asking permission. No thanks. The amount of things you have to click gets quiet. That's why I don't like using the internet. All right, we can see it. That's fantastic. So what you want to be doing, 50% you want to have a fruit and veg, salads. I know many of us don't do that. So 50% of your plate should be like that. 5% want to be carbs, your couscous, your brown rice maybe, your quinoa, whatever. And then your protein. Obviously, I don't eat meat. I don't recommend eating meat, but your fishes, whatever. But finding a vegetarian with high protein. I think things like lentils is high protein, lentils and kidney beans. So a lentil curry, kidney bean curry if you're vegetarian, vegan, this kind of stuff. So yeah, this is what that is, right? So now this is me doing the dull, oh no, why? But this is, we should get in the habit of health. I know it's not the most fun topic. I've pushed the link out there, family. This show will not be long if people don't jump in. I have literally things to jump and do. But we are talking about black health. We're also talking about collectively black people have no friends. So we're going to jump on that. We're going to jump on that and try to explain why collectively black people have no friends and why it's important that black people, more importantly, don't try to seek allyship when practice black betterment. So let me put on the picture stuff. Hold on. So let's end the black health very quick, unless people want to jump back on it. And it is important. You must forgive me because I normally have a presentation with writing and you can go, oh, that's what you're talking about. But today I was doing some task and I couldn't do it. What are you going to do about it, right? So yeah, what I was saying. So today, what we're saying is most brothers and sisters, unfortunately, why is that not giving me two pictures? Yeah. Most brothers and sisters, unfortunately, forgive my, I'm in the spare room, so there's mops there and everything, so it's all messy with it. Whoopsie daisy. Yeah. So what I was saying, what I notice is there's a lot of brothers and sisters who actively look when we try to practice black betterment, develop the community, looking outside for allies and stuff. And I'm saying that is definitely a no-no, not to do that. One of the things that happens is, unfortunately, brothers and sisters, whenever a non-black person might do something constructive and nice for black people, sometimes we equate that to a whole collective group. and then we become very compassionate, very open, and say, "This, yeah, you know, everyone's good. We have friends." And I was looking at stories on the internet where they were talking about. Actually, you know what? Let me actually play one. There was a brother. Let me see if I can. It shouldn't get flagged or whatever. Let me see if I can find it and put it on the thing. But it was basically, stories of I don't help black people for this. Let me actually find it for you, because I think it should work through the meter, right? So I'm now, whenever I have to look for things, it's when it takes 100 years. But feel free to jump in, to chop up and talk. Feel free to jump in and talk at the top. Where is this mountain? Melanin. There we go. Melanin. And it's the arrangement. Yeah, there we go. Good. Oh, yeah. So it's a brother called Hassan. Brother. Let me put that on the group. So I'm going to put this for us viewers just to watch. I saw it the other day. I thought this articulates what I'm trying to say really well. And if you're in any kind of pro-black space, it's a very important, it's what everyone says. But if you're not really, they won't make sense. But let's see if you see this. I'm going to share that. So hold on. Stop that. Unmute that. And yeah, we're almost to give it 17 seconds. So we're going to, this is what the brother posted, and I co-sign what he's saying. Now we're going to share screen. Have a listen. Tell your friends. Big up. There you go. I'm going to go stop sharing and present. Share screen. Fantastic. Sorry, technology. So let's listen to this. Hopefully you can hear it. If you can't hear it, let me know, because I won't know. Well, I can hear it. So let's say this.
Antoine Daniels explains why he isn't pro-black.
I hate when I see businesses to say it's a black-owned business. I'm like, oh, so you're just trying to get a leg up because we're the same color? Man, I don't know who the fuck you could be beating your wife in the other room.
Forgiveness for the swearing. If you did hear, we try not to have any swearing, but forgive for the swearing. We're going to welcome Brother Kel. I'm just going to play the video. Welcome, Brother Kel.
Black Betterment, bro. Is my mic all right, Brother Rave?
It is very good. I can hear it. Yeah, well, it's very good. We can hear you. So if you can hear the videos, let us know.
I'm supposed to give you my money just because you black? I don't know what you're doing in your spare time.
Nah, things will be so
all of the people, listen, the dudes that carjacked me in Detroit, they look just like me. They look just like me. Now, that don't mean that I'm supposed to look at another black person and say, oh man, you bad because they carjacked me. But
we're going to start again just because you might have missed it. So we're going to start again. Forgiveness for the swear that will come in.
Antoine Daniels explains why he isn't pro-black.
So again.
I hate when I see businesses to say it's a black-owned business. I'm like, oh,
so he said he hates when black people say it's a black-owned business. This is definitely unsynchronized enough code behavior. You should be, we want
to just trying to get
we promote black businesses and we do want black support. So unfortunately, the brother might be slightly confused.
Leg up because we're the same color, man. I don't know who the fuck you could be beating your wife. And
definitely don't want to be beating your wife.
I'm supposed to give you my money just because you black? I don't know what you're doing in your spare time. All of the people, listen, the dudes that carjacked me in Detroit, they look just like me.
And what we're going to go into, we're going to go on why having black allies in any form of betterment can be very dangerous, so-called allies, because of the mindset of black people. Well, let's carry
on. They look just like me. Now, that don't mean that I'm supposed to look at another black person and say, oh man, you bad because they carjacked me. But I evaluate each and individual person based off of who they are, not what the color of their skin is, because I've seen a lot of finessers look like me. It's just flat out. Some of the greatest opportunities that I ever got in my lifetime was based off of somebody. It was a pale white woman. A pale white woman.
So he's going to say a white woman gave him his best opportunity in life. And so what you want to break down when brothers are speaking is they'll give absolutely no credit to black people, and they'll say, just because you're black, I'm not going to help you. It doesn't work that way. You might be a burglar. Remember last week we were talking about the success story versus the failure fantasy. So they go right to the failure fantasy, right? They don't talk about success story, talk about failure fantasy. But then what they'll do is they'll then go to a success story of the single one, for a European, and there'll be no insults towards the Europeans or the Arabs or whatever. There'll be no insults towards the non-black person, but towards the black person, there'll be a whole lot of insults and joke and this kind of stuff. So this is what you have to be very aware of.
was brighter than them lights. And on her dying wish on her deathbed, I was working at the University of Michigan, and she did some of the greatest things. She died of cancer, and I think it was leukemia or something like that. But she wound up dying of cancer. And one of her dying wishes before she passed away was she ensured that I got hired in as a permanent employee because I came in as a contractor. She made sure that I got the best benefits, the best package before she passed away. Now I'm supposed to forget her and forget what it is that she did to me, or she did for me as a good person, and try to say that she lesser of a person than the motherfucker that tried to carjack me?
This is why racism and white supremacy continues to flourish. Because we've been so psychologically damaged as a people, whenever a white person does a good gesture, they automatically become our saviors. And this is why Marcus Garvey says what must be done for the African.
This brother's got a page called Hassan. Go follow him. He says, I'm hearing him say some lot of constructive things, so follow that brother.
Must be done by the African. It reminds me a little bit of the Denzel Washington movie when he played Malcolm X.
Brilliant scene, by the way.
I've read some of your speeches, and I honestly believe that a lot of what you have to say is true. And I'm a good person in spite of what my ancestors did. And I wanted to ask you, what can a white person like myself, who isn't prejudiced, what can I do to help you and further your plans?
Nothing.
The best thing that white people can do for black people is stay out of our way. We are not a helpless people. We don't need handouts. We don't need charity. We just need you to stop practicing racism, white supremacy. But this is how racism, white supremacy functions. It plays both sides of the coin. White supremacy plays the villain and the hero because they actually cause the conditions that have us living like this. But then they turn around and do things like this. And this ultimately confuses black people. At some point, you have to realize that Batman, who's supposed to be the superhero, is no different than Joker, who's supposed to be the villain.
A friend of mine asked me recently, was I going to go see the new Batman movie with him? And just, I don't respect the concept of Batman because of what I understand about politics now. Sorry. I'm going to lay it out for you. Rich dude owns a corporation, yes, has state-of-the-art equipment, yep, and he uses this to beat up on street-level crime. He doesn't mess with the industrialists or the super capitalists, the Murdochs or the Trumps. He really just fuck with the purse snatchers on the corner.
So the good white person is really no different from the bad white person. It all goes back to power and control. Ultimately, the bad white people want to take your fish. The good white people want to give you a fish. Nevertheless, this all goes back to power over. White people must control and dominate the way we view them and also the way we view ourselves. In conclusion, the open, hard-handed racist wants to rule you by force, and the liberal, good-hearted racist wants to rule you by compassion. But the overall premise is the same. They want to rule you, and sometimes they rule you by doing good deeds for you.
He said, don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob. He was white as snow. Them motherfuckers that hopped over me was blacker than me. Yeah, he was a cop. My life was saved by a white man. I don't know what race it is. I know a good motherfucker named Uncle Bob, though.
In fact, the best way to enslave a Negro is to get him universal. I ain't for all people. That means he can't be for himself. He feels guilty about being for himself. Yeah, he doesn't look, let's act in terms of who we are. Oh, no, I'm for all people. Which means I can't commit myself to what? To anyone else. But you see, when other people have already got the scheme set up, it doesn't, what you're for all for doesn't work for all people. Up. This is always go to what? Particular people.
All right, cool. So sorry about that. I'm trying to compress. Oh, God, forget the food. Oh, how to make one way. That's really good. That's actually.
And today I'm going to show you how to make delicious one.
That's actually very nice, but we won't be doing that today. Although if we do, don't put any salt on it because of black health. Whatever. Let me go back to the video. So I've got so many screens open. It's crazy. But we are joined by a guest. So what we're going to say is, boy, that's not name at all, is it? So I think this platform present, stop share screen, present, share screen, and then it should be that one. All right, so we're back. We're back. All right, so big up, brother Kel. Welcome to the Black Betterment Broadcast. What the Black Betterment Banter? Sorry, 1,000 forgivenesses. Well,
Black Betterment, brother. Black Betterment.
Black Betterment. So I'm just compressing this file because I've literally run from helping a family member with an emergency, and I've just got back. So I never had time to design the thing, but the topics are. We're talking about black health, we're talking about blood pressure, and unfortunately, so many brothers and sisters have high blood pressure. And we're talking about the salt intake in food. And if you do have high blood pressure, ways of lowering the salt. And even some things you won't think of, like, unfortunately, if we use canned foods, they use salt preservatives, so that might heighten your salt. We're talking about this. We're talking about, obviously, trying to have as much fresh veg as possible, fruit and veg. 50% of your plate should be fruit and veg. And trying to, when you make your sauces, maybe make them fresh. It was a topic at Speaker's Corner last week or something. And then we also had a second series, no need for non-black allies. And we showed a video from a brother called Hassan, I think Hassan Campbell, I think it is. No, Hassan Campbell was someone else. It's Hassan. And he was, in his video, he was breaking down why it could be somewhat dangerous when black people have non-black allies who do good things for them. And then we see a pattern, and we show two examples, what I'm going to bring up, of where whenever you try to get people to be dedicated to Black Betterment, they'll say, well, a black man robbed my wallet or whatever, and a white man gave me money. So, white people ain't bad and black people bad, or I'm not going to be helping black people. And this is like, obviously, a historical trauma, psychological trip that unfortunately many of the brothers and sisters might be in. So we're unpacking that of why that's dangerous or way of thinking. Oh, is this the right one? Yeah. So that's where we're at, brother. Do you wanna jump in while I try to sort out this sheet? If anything you
Yeah, I just came in, man, and you were talking about the health, which is very, very important, man.
Yeah.
Our people need to, as much as possible, keep away from the red meat. You know what I mean? That's something, this is problematic. And also doing a lot of fasting as well, brother Raven. You know what I mean? You're a vegan as well. But, sometimes we eat a lot of food and causes health problems, and we neglect fasting as well as turmeric, drinking warm water when you wake up in the morning, if you're gonna, before you eat anything or before you go to bed, to kind of crush the food down, man, so you can kind of defecate with ease, if that makes any sense, man. So yeah, I was just interested in that. Yeah,
no, I mean, the more unprocessed natural food you eat, the more you will be able to. It's easier to go to the bathroom. Also, with urines, the more water you drink, the more transparent your urine will look, and that's what you want to be seeing. You don't want to see high concentrated urine. You want to be, they say 3 hours a week, but you want to be trying to jog or train or do some kind of cardio or whatever to improve your health. And that's around times we'll talk about blood pressure and how to lower it. Anyone got any issues, any stories of blood pressure, feel free to click on the link. We also moved on to a topic where we were talking about, I'm trying to wait for this thing to compress.
I think Hassan Yilmaz wants the link. I think you want to come and talk about something.
Did I not pull it in there? Let me put it in there one more time. Sorry, guys. I don't think I. So if you wish to jump in, bro, I'm gonna put the link in one more time, and maybe I need to. You know what? I don't think I can even pin it up, or maybe I can. Can I? I don't know if I can pin it up, but the way, because I'm in Titan's platform, I don't know if it even works that way. So this is if I can. I doubt it. Oh, see. I tell you, whenever you do things like that, that's when everything starts tracking and going mad slow. No, not that one. So, brother, we've pushed the link in there, and what I'm going to try to do is what? Oh, because that. Oh, the show. Yeah. Where's? How do I actually see the show? I have to find it on YouTube and all that nonsense. You know what I'm saying? It's just long. It's so long. So, guys, I'm not gonna pin it because I can't bother. But it's now live. So I just posted it. So click on the link, brother Hassan. I think you said wanted to join in. Jump in while I try to find. Let's see, Titans TV. Let's see if it. Okay, it's live, and oh yeah, it is live, episode 2. And I wonder if it allows me to pin this up. Let me see. Like it, push like it on the video for some magical reason. Let's see if I can do it. No, can I pin it? Oh, can't even pin it. What are we gonna do? It is what it is. Because it's not his chat. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. So yeah, I'll keep posting now and then for those who want to join in. But for those, look, it's Titans TV stream. Just click on it and you can jump in. But this thing is taking so long to compress. Yeah, it's almost embarrassing. But whatever. So the second topic, is a very important topic, family, is the reasons why you shouldn't try to have non-black people help you, help the unsynchronized black person, is because you could become very dependent, and also it could miscue, and it might not prepare you to be suspicious or even dedicated to Black Betterment, because once again it's an imbalance. Unfortunately, many brothers and sisters are conditioned to look very favorably towards non-black people and very disfavorably towards black people. And we showed a video a couple of minutes before about that, where when you try to explain to people the importance of black economics and black business and sport and all that kind of stuff, you're like, oh, well, you know, a black person robbed me one time, so I don't trust black people, and just because you're black, why should I help you out? And then they'll give you a fantastic story about a white person who saved them, and they'll say there is no such thing as racist. They'll never say anything constructive nice about black people, but they will say about that one white person or Arab person or non-black person, who did a good gesture for them, and then they'll use that to paint an entire nation of people, and it will strengthen them not to ever want to practice any form of black betterment or black economics or anything like this. Very problematic. So brother XX, feel free to jump in. This is Black Betterment banter. I mean, I understand if you are trolling or you're here to undermine black progress, you might want to keep your vocals to yourself. I get it, because it might highlight who you are, where you're from. But this is a peaceful place here. And if there's anything we're doing that's not constructive, by all means, let us know. Also, we do things as case studies. So if you are unsynchronized or you do not value black people being constructive, then let us know and we can study you as a case study. You know, so feel free. Family, I post it once more. Invite link. Copy. Can I put it in there? I don't know if I can. Does that work? I think it does. So yeah, try that. Can I pin that? No, I can't pin that. I don't know. I have to log into. I can't. Oh, wait a minute. What if? Nah, I can't be bothered. So anyway, family. Yeah. So today's topic is this. Today's topic is no need for non-black allies. No need. The problem is, obviously, we become extremely subservient. Now, for those who are new to the show, we have our own Black Betterment blueprint that we go through here. And I think I've got it here somewhere. Are you seeing it? So with the Black Betterment blueprint, it helps us stay on track. It helps us break down, going from error-prone behavior to high-principle behavior, right? And one of the things we're trying to do for our brothers and sisters is make sure that the things we do is not error-prone and high-principle. And unfortunately, it is very error-prone if you're constantly pushing other people groups above your own, and you're using stories of them doing good towards you to undermine black progress. And we show the video just before anyone who jumped in now. See, if you guys want to see the video again, we can play it one more time. Last week, we talked about the 5 stages of grief. We won't cover it this time unless you guys really want to. Very important stuff. We also talked about the Glad African and the Sad African. Right? I'm just thinking of some good stuff. This is a good one. So another thing, whenever you get like non-black people who they always quote certain people at certain times saying certain things. So they always quote, and this is probably a good point. So let me read what it says: black activists who non-black people quote versus the ones they don't. So I'll start by saying any brother and sister who's dedicated any form of black betterment, we salute them and we never mistreat people because of them being championed by other people or whatever they might have done. We always respect the hard work they've done. Black Betterment to them. But so like with Martin Luther King, I'm going to read one quote that many non-black people quote and they use this to try to, whenever black people are rallying up to do individual betterment work, they try to use these quotes to stop it, to make sure black people don't just focus on black issues but focus on all issues. So I have a dream that one day little black boys and girls will be holding hands with little white boys and girls. And that's a quote, and that's a very good quote for like everyone come together, we love each other. You know, there was quote that one. What they don't quote is what Malcolm X says is, let's see what let me read it. Brothers and sisters, I'm here to tell you that I charge the white man. I charge the white man with being the greatest murderer on earth. I charge the white man with being the greatest kidnapper on earth. There is no place in the world that this man can go and say he created peace and harmony. Everywhere he goes, he created havoc everywhere. He's gone. He's created destruction. So that's one of the reasons why Malcolm X is never quoted, even though he does a lot for the brothers and sisters, is because that was his stance. So once again, you always find that they'll always try to find a universal all-in, and it makes sense why they would want to do that, right? But what you have to understand is there are ideologies and concepts that's more dedicated contract for your own betterment. And these brothers are saying this to try to break the chain in your mind of you being subservient and focusing all your energy, time, and resources in other communities and focus on fixing yours because the black community needs the most help. So here's a quote from Nelson Mandela. Let's read his quote. It is not our diversity which divides us. It is not our ethnicity or our religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. Very nice quote. And then we'll quote, these quotes from brother. His wife said this: it is only when all black groups join hands and speak with one voice that we shall be a bargaining force which will decide its own destiny. Very important quote there from the sister, Winnie Mandela. You don't really hear those quotes too much. You hear more of the quotes of her husband, when they became the president and all together, that kind of stuff. And then obviously, brother W.E.D. Du Bois, the quote from him was, "I believe that all men, black, brown, and white, are brothers." You might hear that quote, and yeah, sure, yeah, of course. But you won't hear anything from Marcus Garvey where he says, "Africa for the Africans, at home and abroad." And this is the thing: you shouldn't expect non-black people to do anything constructive for you collectively. Nothing at all. You should expect that other groups to be trained in sorting their own issues out and being dedicated to their own issues. But unfortunately, what we're seeing is many groups are used to black people being very subservient. And whenever black people come together to try to do something, you might get them to come and try to sabotage or push the energy somewhere else. And sometimes it happens indirectly. And this is why we say it's quite dangerous when you have Europeans or white people or Arabs or whoever do a nice gesture for a black person, because the brain computer starts jumbling, and they can't separate the goodness that person done from racism as a whole or from the collective group that's doing it. So they equate that cool gesture with the entire group, and then they forget about the past or things that have happened in between that has made forward progression very challenging for black people. And this is why we have this topic. Now I'm going to wonder, is this thing actually done though? But that doesn't matter. So that's why we use the term synchronized here. We don't use derivative terms. We say, is a brother synchronized with Black Betterment or unsynchronized? If they are sabotaging progress indirectly or directly, and they're doing things that's not in our collective best interest, then we say that as it pertains to Black Betterment, they're unsynchronized. But if they're doing constructive things, then they're synchronized, right? So that's why we say this could be a brother in genetics, but not a brother in ethics. So I'll say again, they're brothers in genetics, but not brothers in ethics. So establishing your brothers who in your ethics and genetics work with, while you're working on behalf of the brothers who don't have the same ethics as you, right? Remember, we started the show by saying black people are collectively adequate, and I've written down here: white people, Asian, Arabs, LGBT community are collectively superior to black people at activities and actions based at progressing their own agendas. So I'm going to read that story, and again, it's very important, and it's something that feel free to jump in. That white people, Asian, Arabs, and the LGBT community are collectively superior to black people at activities and actions based at progressing their own agendas. All right, very important. This is a talking tactic. It's to start the ball rolling, to highlight that we clearly have a challenge and others do it very well. So it's now our time to do the same thing. Be one, black first, and that kind of stuff, right? The only reason to identify as black is to practice Black Betterment. Very important. What is Black Betterment? Black people and black issues for betterment. There you go. Right? Many people might disagree with the name Black Betterment because they think it's a spell, but black is a color. There is no land called black. So we introduced what they call the synonym star, because we're here with branding. We do have branding over here. And the synonym star means that whenever we say Black Betterment, it also means all these other things as well. So it could mean Black Betterment, Black and More Betterment, African Advancement, Aboriginal Advancement, Akubulan Advancement, Ethiopian with an A Advancement, Israelite Improvement, Indigenous Improvement, Color Correction, Negro Nutriment, Nubian Nutriment, Moorish Management. It doesn't matter. Yeah, same thing. What tends to happen is unsynchronized brothers and sisters who are going through the 5 stages of grief. When you tell them about the problem, they talk in circles about names. You know, we're not this, we're that. So you say, well, when we say this, we mean this as well. And then we move on to actually doing constructive work. If that makes sense. Yeah? Let's leave that one. Also, whenever you're talking to any brothers and sisters about working, doing Black Betterment work, I recommend you ask them, what are your views on Black love and what are your views on Black economics? Straight away, if they shoot that down, then you know they won't, they're not ready for the type of engagement of Black Betterment or constructive work. So to bid them good day and wish them well, and then talk to another brother or sister who values those things. At the Black Betterment Blueprint, we're saying we are promoting Black families, Black economics, Black ownership, Black health, Black defense, Black centeredness, Black collectiveness, Black enterprise, Black expertise, Black politeness, and Black constructiveness. All right, don't forget that. Once again, this does tie into what we were saying about energy. So what is a better use of energy and time? Teaching anti-Black groups the error of their ways, or building Black businesses and promoting Black betterment? See, you find many brothers out there, what they do is, because of this thing, racism and white supremacy, and anti-Black racism to be particular, they go on journeys or crusades to teach non-Black people what racism is. Unfortunately, if you want to know what racism is, you have to ask the non-Black people because they've specialized it for many years. So you ain't teaching them nothing, and it's a waste your time and energy to do that. So you should be focusing on building Black businesses and promoting Black betterment. You see? Don't forget, family, the link is in the thing. You can jump in and talk with me and Brother Kel about Black betterment. Any questions you want. You know, you can't be wrong. What we're doing, we're looking to build with the brothers and sisters on ideas and methods of how to help Black people progress. Very nice. So feel free to jump in. The link's in there. So feel free to jump in. You're always welcome. You can't. There is no wrong thing. If you know, as long as you come on a constructive thing, we'll build with you. If you disagree, let us have a talk. I've said a lot of statements. If you don't agree with that, jump in. There's like this. We have a document with so much things here. So much. Look at that. Collectively, Black people have no friends. Very important quote there. Don't forget that one. Collectively, Black people have no friends. You see? The reason why we say collectively is because if I say Black people have no friends and no allies, it causes high anxiety amongst amongst Black people, because they want to believe that we do. So you put the term collectively, mean that, you know, nations as a collective. That makes it more easier for them to digest. So the quote is, collectively, Black people have no friends. There you go, right? I mean, we don't have to tackle the religion thing now unless you want to. It's very, I've broken down how Black betterment is compatible with all religions. I'll give you an example now, I guess. So sometimes when you're trying to teach the lifestyle of Black betterment to your everyday good Black person, They'll say, well, the thing is, I'm part of this religion, and because I'm part of this religion, I can't practice Black Betterment. And then you go, oh, no, it's a lifestyle, you can. And you break down the concept of, imagine a person is a phone, a mobile phone. Let me put that. Imagine a person is a mobile phone. Their religion could be seen as an operating system. Yeah, like Windows, that kind of stuff, right? Windows, Apple, iOS, whatever. But they can also have an application they called browser, Firefox, whatever, right? That is how you have to see Black Betterment. It's a lifestyle that can work on top of the religious paradigm frame, whatever, right? So if you think of it that way, it makes it very easy that you have your body, your religion, and your lifestyle. We're joined by Nigel Cook Needed. Welcome. Can you hear me? Oh, you're muted at the moment, brother. Shall I unmute? There you go.
Yo, my G, how are you?
Very good. Welcome.
How are you?
We're super fantastic. So welcome to the Black Betterment Banter. We throw the link out, and I suspect you might be a usual who watches Times TV when you can. Am I right?
I do like to watch Titan TV. Normally, he does talk a lot of sense.
Well, he good brother to him. And now we're on the Black Betterment broadcast. So that's the breakdown for those listening. This is a banter segment where we're discussing the idea or lifestyle that is known as Black Betterment. And what Black Betterment is Black people working with Black people on Black issues. I've got today's topic up. It takes so long to compress. I'm just thinking if it's done it. Probably not. Hold on. Let's make sure. Is it that one? Oh, whatever. Mm-hmm. So today's topic is, let me read it on this thing. Just so everyone, it's no need for non-Black allies. So what we're saying is, did you see the video that we played earlier?
To be honest with you, I've been watching, but I had to go off for a little while.
That's fine. I'll break it down.
SteamYard up.
Yeah,
basically, it took me away from your screen for a little while. So my apologies if it had gone on at that time. I'd missed it.
I'll break it down. What it is unfortunately, because of the mindset of many brothers and sisters who are Black or African or African descendant, many brothers and sisters look very favorably towards non-Black people. So when non-Black people, when one non-Black person does a kind gesture, it then confuses many Black people about how people operate as a collective. So they start brushing that one individual as a collective, and they'll say, because this one so-and-so person did nice to me, that means all their people are nice. And I'm not going to focus on Black issues. I'm going to focus on all issues because, all people are nice. And this is a very problematic way to view things as we see it in Black Betterment.
Okay. Well, that sort of makes sense. I mean, if that's what your experiences are, that's what society's experience is in that respect. My thing is, like, what's the option if that's where the systems are? I mean, as much as we all like to think hypothetically what scenarios are, but it is what it is. If the white people have the money, then who else will they have to go through to somewhat get it?
Yeah. So what it is if you use white people as white people will always on average have more money.
I mean, I don't consider myself white in respect to this argument. I'm on the outside in respect to it. I don't even think it's a white and Black thing, to be honest with you. I think it's people with power, people without power.
Do you know where you were born and where your parents are from?
Yes.
Do you mind saying, is that a top secret kind of thing?
Yeah, Turkish.
Right.
Grandfather Russian, Armenian.
Right.
One part Black Sea coast with a bit of mixture from Antalya, like the right opposite side near Europe.
Yeah. Have you ever identified as white before?
No. Okay, I don't think I ever will. I look white, like the average Joe, but I'm not privileged to their system.
I do know that they have a cutoff point. So when I hear a lot of white nationalists or white supremacists talk, or just white people in general, I do know they cut off a point. So they look at Europe and they say, towards when you hit, like, I think they even use Turkey as the cutoff point. So before it, when they talk about Poland, this kind of stuff, and Russia, they see that as white people, Ukraine as white people. But when you hit Turkey, they usually say these are not white people. They'll probably see you more as going into what they describe as the Arab people, the Arab culture, whatever. That's
well,
what
I don't even classify myself Arab, to be honest with you. I'm descendant Russian with Mongolian, and I mean, it's just basically how our race was done. Like we were warring people. Like to expect true pure blood in that race is a bit preposterous in its
I don't think they use, well, the Europeans will use those kind of terms, but
yeah, again, the Europeans use a lot of terms that they shouldn't be using. Do you understand me? In regards to like fair systems and all the rest of it. My thing is my thing was that to be honest with you, I classify myself more of a Turk than anything else, but I don't like that. Turkey's where I'm in Turkey. If I'm here, I'm British. You understand me? If I move to Russia, I'm going to classify myself as a Russian. Just go where that person wants you to be. Do you understand me? It doesn't make no sense going to any other country and acting like a mad person if that's what they don't want.
Well, that's a strategy that many non-black people have the privilege to do, in the sense of they can bend their identity when it suits them fit. Black people never had that kind of luxury, because a lot of what people define as black is a physical shell. It's a lineage as well, but it's a physical shell. So even though many black people want to identify as something else, it doesn't really happen that way. And this is one of the confusions that many black people have. So I guess if you, let's just say you're a Turk, I would say the analogy works to you in the sense of, like, if you have a black friend, we have to train black people how to see you as an individual and not as a collective. To see you as, if you do a good deed for him, he isn't to then think that every single Turkish person likes black people. And this is the challenge that we have, that this seems to be a way of thinking that we need to kind of work on.
I hear that. Also, there's also the system that sort of like puts you in that predicament to make you think that way. I mean, I see how it was here 40 years ago and how it is here today. Two different countries in my mind. Yes, they speak the same, they talk the same, the roads are the names of the roads of the names of the roads are the same, but nothing else. There's like the systems change, like how the banking world works is changed. Like we didn't have cryptocurrency 40 years ago. I mean, that into it, like let's just say the diversity we didn't have the cultural hot pot that we currently have now to what we had 40 years ago. I mean, there's a world apart. I mean, we're more catching up to Istanbul there in that respect, but it's just how it is. And again, going back to like of betterment, my only concern is you can only better something if you've got the keys to that system. I mean, that's what I really I'm here to sort of like find out from you, because like yourselves, I think we're all in that same position. Like everyone that's not privileged, white, and I mean white Yiddish. I don't mean white anything else. I mean white Yiddish. You're not gonna get into that club. I mean, you could try as hard as you want, be nice as you want, have as many perspectives on how people are as a group or as an individual. I don't think that's going to change anything unless they give you the keys to the palace.
Yeah, so we kind of there is, I sense the truth from what you're saying. However, the way we see it is certain things are more simple. With the freedoms people are afforded and the choice they can do, they can bend that towards their people group. So if you're a Turkish person, I suspect that you will come from a Turkish community who practice economics really well. They practice marrying Turkish people really well and highlighting the values of Turkish women marrying Turkish men, and maintaining the cultural connection and making sure that shops trade with shops, and they send money back to Turkey and they send goods back to England, so they have a trade going. I would think Turkish people do that at a superior level than to black people. So the idea is for black people to not work with to have Turkish friends and buy Turkish food, whatever you want to do, but generally dedicate the sheer majority of your life fixing black issues. That's what this whole podcast is, training black people to work with black people on black issues. And if you only do it 20%, make it 80%. If you only do it 10%, make it 70%.
Do you know how easy it is to become a Turk? I think that's where people might. I think that's where we might be getting the confusion. We're not just nice to Turks. We're nice to people that want to be Turks in that respect. So if you've got that sort of like ethic where you're nice, you're helpful, and you've not been burnt as well. Again, this is going back to the systems that you got. People have been put into by whatever reasons and for whatever decisions that they've made to be put into that thing. Like, for example, the people of Gaza. Now, as much as they might want to change their system at the moment, there's fuck all that they can do there now.
About 5 seconds. On this platform, we try to use strong language in debates. I know.
My apologies. My sincere apologies. I'll keep it extremely clean from now on.
That's the question.
As much as.
Hold on, brother. King Cal's got a question.
Yeah. Now, please do. I can pick up from where I left off.
Yeah, I'm very kind of confused about something, because you were saying that Turks, if they see you as a Turk, then you'll be treated basically equal. So why is there a problem with the Afro Turks in Turkey? Why are they discriminated?
Could you tell me what Afro Turks are being discriminated in Turkey?
Well, there's
I've not heard about it.
You've never heard about the Afro Turks being discriminated in Turkey?
No, to be brutally honest with you, the experience I've had in Turkey when I saw black people, they don't even really get noticed. It's just someone walking the fucking street. I've never seen them swear at them.
Try to swear, brother. I know you're struggling, but
my apologies. I've never seen any adverse effect done onto these people. If you could just enlighten me a little bit, like, and I don't mind, go check it up, and then I could be a bit more informed for next time. I know there's a group of people that the Turks are not really like on the same page with. Where there's two groups of people really. I mean, that's the Jews and the Kurds, closely followed by the Indians. I mean, I think if there's any problems there, it'll be them. I mean, in regards to the Afro areas where you'd be like Somalia, and they tend to be quite. I've never heard any black person like tell me, or black community tell me that. The very first time that I'm hearing it from you, to be brutally honest with you. Normally it's like, oh, you're Turks, you know, you help Africa, and they tell me that they've donated 12 buses or something like that to that area. The very first time I'm hearing like negative news in regards to that.
So
this is very problematic because you know there's a number of movements in Turkey, and there's discrimination. They've even got like the Afro Turk Association. If you go on the YouTube, and there's many books about how they're trying to get their rights in Turkey. You know, they're treated as low-life citizens, kind of similar to what happens in Israel with the black Israelites. Well, the black Palestinians as well as the black Israelites, and that they're treated the same way how the Afro Turks are treated in Turkey. So I just find it very strange that you don't know about this, man, and this is like very well known. You know,
I'll be brutally honest with you.
Something.
I don't even recognize any of these people. There must be some serious media blackout in regards to this, because again, the only news that I've ever heard come out from Africa has been pretty positive. In regards to Somalia, they've helped them out with the airlines. In regards to other parts, I know again, I'm not really too familiar in what parts of Africa that the news has been presented, but there tends to be very positive. You know, and again, saying this because being in London, I've never had a guy from Africa or, you know, like the Caribbean area to ever come up to me with a negative, yo, what's your guys doing? Like, I've heard it from Kurds. I've heard a lot of people say, bro, your Turks are like really doing our people in something rotten. And I'm like, well, good. Says you're right. You know, you should be going up against nations in that sense. Understand me? But as in regards to the the African continent. No, I've not heard anything, and I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, but are we going to ignore the Ottomans' part in enslavement, right, with the Africans that were brought into Turkey, as well as we know that there were indigenous Anatolians still in Turkey. We know that there were black people there. However, there is proof and evidence of the Ottomans enslaving the Central Africans and East Africans in 1870, from what I can remember. And also,
you're talking a long time ago in regards to the Ottomans.
No, but the thing is, though, right? Although to you it's a long time ago, but there's an Afro-Turk movement in Turkey trying to get their rights. You see, so
No,
you could
wish them the best,
but they're still fighting for rights today, 2023. But you're saying
this
it's
is another thing that again, like I reckon everyone in Turkey struggles, like, you know, and there's other things about being a Turk, like it's not. And again, like not deviating off this subject in regards to Africa, because I'm assuming that Africa's got its own like respects and traditions that it goes with, but it's just how it is. Like there were slaves, and the Ottomans were quite good in business, and if they saw a business or a dime in there, that's what they were going to do alongside many other people. And to be brutally honest with you, I think if you really want to be pointing blame on the slave industry, I think there's the one above us, above the Ottomans, which everyone seems to forget. I don't understand.
Yeah, but you're coming with some form of unity, you know, and you fail to realize.
I think we do need it.
Well, as I said to you, the Afro-Turks need the unity. You see, because you're saying that the Turks, they saw an opportunity of diamonds, etc. In other words, we're going to participate in enslavement. And I'm telling you, to this day, there are Africans, Afro-Turks, right, who are fighting for their rights. And you're saying that this doesn't happen.
I can tell you today that in Libya, they're selling slaves today at $500 a piece.
But we're talking about Turkey, though, because remember, you're speaking about that we're all equal and we should get along.
No, we're actually talking about Africa and the black people.
No, can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Who's that?
Welcome, Easy Bands official. I'm just saying, for the brother, I'm just going to post you an article about this stereotyping and mistreatment of black people in Turkey, just so you can know. Could you see it? No, it's an article that's there. But here's what it is. Anywhere you find people, you'll find that there's going to be some kind of mistreatment of black people. It's not really a fascinating thing. Oh, I told you so. This is bad or good. We're saying the best solution for black people is to focus on black issues, have a complete lifestyle where all you're doing is working with black people on black issues. So you're going from a 1% to a 2% to a 3% to a 10%. You're just focusing mainly in life on black issues. And unfortunately, many black people don't know how to focus on black issues. You see? And when we start this show, we start with a very important 3 starting statements. And one of them is black people collectively have no friends. So would you say that collectively Turkish people are black people's friends?
I don't see why not, to be brutally honest with you. Unless you're our enemy, like you're going to be our friend. And I've seen that in our Afro-Caribbean community as well. I've never gone up to a Jamaican or an African and seen them in a hostile manner, or that I had received anything hostile. I mean, it would be a very negative way of living a life if you're always on defense, always. And I see that.
Well, let me jump in. So sometimes we go for the extreme. We go. It's not necessarily enemies and rivals, but what you can see is black culture, black identity, black things. Black people are very easy to let non-black people in and contribute and be a part of it and benefit financially, whatever. You tend to find that other cultures safeguard and safegate their things much more.
And you find it very detrimental to like, I'll give an example. It's much better to be far more open armed and be that to the very end. I mean, I've had to adapt this ethos that you just presented, where you've got to be more giving. Like holding it back and doing what with it is doing what to you as a person, apart from sinking you further down a deep hole, which you're gonna have to crawl out of. That I think denying yourself what you are, that as a group of people, like for example, us Turk, as much as it burns me to say, I say they're too trusting as well, and they're too giving, and they're too loving, and they're too caring. But I don't care. All right, so what? A percentage of the people get ruined. They get ruined in that process.
I'm just going to say something. So, would you say that in the dynamics between black people and Turkish people, would you say that black people are more open towards Turkish people, or Turkish people are more open towards black people? What would you say from your understanding?
I would say it's equal. To be honest with you, I've never ever had that experience where it's been otherwise. I'll tell you what I do get from my side, what I hear from my side. Be careful, but they say that about everyone. Like everyone, right. They say that about your brother. Be careful. You know, don't trust people too much. And again, I think that's due to.
Yeah, let me just jump in. The reason I say is because we're going to try to do some layer by layer.
Of course. So right you lead, bro.
Here we go. So right now we're on an article where a Turkish man is writing about some of the challenging racism things he has observed in Turkey. It's quite long. I think I posted a link in there, right? Is there no anti-black racism in Turkey? And then obviously the man showing all the stuff that is very demeaning that he isn't.
Again, I think you missed the bit where I said that Turkey will hate anyone that's not going to give him that respect and think that if you go up to them and they're not smiling, you don't expect them to smile back.
So, okay, we're talking about collectivism, right? And we're saying that the question is, if you go to a Caribbean or African station or thing, do we focus on mistreating Turkish people in how we represent them and being disrespectful? I can't think of anything. Even if we were to like bring it up and make it Arabs or something, it's not something that I really see, right? But whenever any nation, someone tells me a nation, I see articles about in that nation them punching down towards black people. And this is just one page. And I think Brother Kel tried to give you a whole lot of other case studies. And this is very consistent. And when we talk to those people, like the individuals, they never mention it, they never acknowledge it. And that's why I say collectively, black people have no friends. No friends.
Can I just add to it?
Go ahead, my friend.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, man.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is my opinion on what you guys are talking about. I think that racism exists everywhere, even in Africa. And so I think we're just like wasting time if we're talking about, you know, does racism exist here or there? You feel me? Like what the guy from Turkey saying is basically, you know, they're just like anybody else.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I mean, you don't have to give the information, but are you a Turkish person yourself?
No. I'm African.
So you're from Africa, right?
Yeah.
So what we try to do is we try to make African descendants, Africans, black people, worldwide, collectively, have a better way of thinking that works in the collective. Yeah. So and the way we're thinking now doesn't work. So we're saying that we're not really talking about racism. Even though racism is very important, we're talking about the need.
The racism does exist, but it's not by the Turk. It's by your Jews.
Let me just add to it.
Well, before you add to it, let me finish what I'm saying.
All right,
and that is rather than focusing on the particular groups mistreating black people, the collective black people, Africans, Caribbeans, whatever, should be working on their own benefit before anything else. That you should not have to focus on anyone else. You should not try to include anyone else, and you should focus on your own issues and get the solutions before you even mention another people group. But what happens is non-black people come into forums and spaces, and they never admit about the collective challenges, or they never admit how good or better they are at working as a unit. And then they'll say, let's all work together. But when they're in their own groups, they don't say let's all work together. And because black people, unfortunately, have a history of being colonized, also a history of being enslaved, and they also have a history of looking at certain media branding that makes them forget the importance of their own betterment. It's very easy to lead Black people into not doing things. What we're going to do while you're here, because I suspect you guys haven't seen what I've put up, is I've got, I think...
My brother, do you mind me saying
Yeah.
that could be said about absolutely everyone, though?
Of course.
I mean, I see what's going on with today's society. I mean, forget that they've finally got the men out of the houses, and they're doing that very game on between men and women in England. They're getting men out of houses. So
nice coup needed. I'm just going to play this video just so we can get more context on what we're actually talking about. So this is from a page called Brother Hassan. Go subscribe to him. And here's his analysis. Forgive any swear words that might come in here because it's from his channel. But let's go.
Antoine Daniels explains why he isn't pro-Black.
I hate when I see businesses to say it's a Black-owned business. I'm like, oh, so you're just trying to get a leg up because we're the same color? Man, I don't know who the fuck you could be beating your wife in the other room. I'm supposed to give you my money just because you're Black? I don't know what you're doing in your spare time. All of the people, listen, the dudes that carjacked me in Detroit, they look just like me. They look just like me. Now, that don't mean that I'm supposed to look at another Black person and say, oh man, you bad because they carjacked me. But I evaluate each and individual person based off of who they are, not what the color of their skin is, because I've seen a lot of finesses look like me. Just flat out. Some of the greatest opportunities that I ever got in my lifetime was based off of somebody. It was a pale white woman. A pale white woman was brighter than them lights, and on her dying wish on her deathbed, I was working at the University of Michigan, and she did some of the greatest things. She died of cancer, and I think it was leukemia or something like that, but she wound up dying of cancer. And one of her dying wishes before she passed away was she ensured that I got hired in as a permanent employee because I came in as a contractor. She made sure that I got the best benefits, the best package before she passed away. Now I'm supposed to forget her or forget what it is that she did to me or she did for me,
exactly,
and try to say that she lesser of a person than the motherfucker that tried to carjack me.
This is why racism and white supremacy continues to flourish. Because we've been so psychologically damaged as a people, whenever a white person does a good gesture, they automatically become our saviors. And this is why Marcus Garvey says what must be done for the African must be done by the African. It reminds me a little bit of the Denzel Washington movie when he played Malcolm X.
Hi, I've read some of your speeches, and I honestly believe that a lot of what you have to say is true. And I'm a good person in spite of what my ancestors did. And I just wanted to ask you, what can a white person like myself who isn't privileged, what can I do to help you in building your friends?
Nothing.
The best thing that white people can do for Black people is stay out of our way. We are not a helpless people. We don't need handouts. We don't need charity. We just need you to stop practicing racism, white supremacy. But this is how racism, white supremacy functions. It plays both sides of the coin. White supremacy plays the villain and the hero because they actually cause the conditions that have us living like this. But then they turn around and do things like this. And this ultimately confuses Black people. At some point, you have to realize that Batman, who's supposed to be the superhero, is no different than Joker, who's supposed to be the villain.
One of my actual reasons are gonna go see the new Batman movie with him. I don't respect.
So
it all goes back to power and control. Ultimately, the bad white people want to take your fish. The good white people want to give you a fish. Nevertheless, this all goes back to power over. White people must control and dominate the way we view them and also the way we view ourselves. In conclusion, the open, hard-headed racist wants to rule you by force, and the liberal, good-hearted racist wants to rule you by compassion. But the overall premise is the same. They want to rule you. And sometimes they rule you by doing good deeds for you.
He said, don't worry, my name's Uncle Bob. He was white as snow. Them motherfuckers that hopped over me was blacker than me. Yeah, he was a cop. My life was saved by a white man. I don't know what racism is. I know a good motherfucker named Uncle Bob, though.
In fact, the best way to enslave a Negro is to get him universal. I'm for all people. That means he can't be for himself.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Yeah, you gotta look, let's act in terms of who we are. Oh, no, that's for all people. Which means I can't commit myself to what? To anyone else. But you see, when other people have already got the scheme set up, it does what you offer doesn't work for all people though. It seems to always go to what? Particular people.
All right. So if you want us to break down what all that was, we can. Yeah.
So yeah, let me just respond right quick and because he said a lot of things, right? Some of which I agree with, but at the same time, it's like he's using these little examples. Some of them, I think he might be using them out of context.
Okay.
Now, when the way he looks at the system, for instance, I think he's talking about the system because that's really the problem. The problem is the way the system is set up, and it's set up by a few people to serve a few people, and for the rest of the people to just be slaves and stuff like that, you know. And in a lot of cases, it goes beyond skin color, especially today. So like it's more of like a class thing now. But
okay, brother, I'm just gonna jump in because we hear this all the time, and there is much wisdom in what you're saying. But the thing is, whenever we're talking about, so if you catch the start of the show, I'm saying for the Black Betterment, we acknowledge that Black people, African descendants, the whole collective that has been labeled Negroes, Black, and this kind of stuff, we are collectively inadequate when it comes to working as a team in benefits our own stuff. And one of the reasons is the speech you just made, where we start saying it's a system, which we can say is, but it's a class of rich and poor, which we understand that goes on. But ultimately, what we never say is, why don't we do what other groups do and focus on ourselves first, fix ourselves first, then we can see how we might interact with others.
But I was about to get there.
There. I'm just helping you get there. So go ahead.
Okay, cool. So when it comes to that, just think about yourself, right? Or just think about what you see around. When somebody opens up a business, what do? They try to network, isn't that right?
Go ahead.
You network, right? You try to get customers. You try to get the cheapest price for your whatever you're supplying. And so networking is very, very important. If we just shut ourselves off and say, we're just going to do it ourselves, it's almost like doing things the hard way when you don't have to. It's like the same pandemic that's happening where we have Black women saying, oh, I'll do bad by myself. You feel me? Now, if we look at all the groups that have some sort of success, right? We could look at the LGBTQ community. We could look at, the Jewish community. We could look at all these communities that have success. None of them did it by themselves. None of them. Sorry,
brother, you're making some good points, but I just want to help you along the way. So here's what it is. We're getting certain things confused, right? Ownership and leadership. All those groups did do it by themselves in the position of leadership and ownership, right? So what they do is they make sure they come together and have a coalition, and they have certain roles and responsibilities. And then any activity that they can't do on themselves because of historical reasons, of finance, or just training, they will then look outwards to hire people, work with people on those particular things. Yeah. So, for example, right, you might have Jewish people who have a music label, and they're aware that, maybe jazz or hip hop or whatever is the most popular form of music. They themselves don't actually make that music. They haven't got the history in it. So what they say is, okay, we're gonna have a record label.
Talent.
Evil. Yeah, we're gonna have our record label, and we're gonna sign these non-Jewish people to our label, but we're still gonna.
But how do they do that?
By owning.
How do they do that? Wait, look, you just said, look, you just literally gave the most biggest ironic scenario in the world. The person that has the talent has to go to the person that hasn't got the talent, don't know nothing about the business. Like, how did they get there? So the person that's singing can't. So you're telling me that it's not their system that works? Of course it is, brother. It's without distribution. You could be Elvis 10 times.
Thank you, brother.
Tupac,
of course,
8 times. It's not going to mean nothing.
I think easy bands because So do you understand what I'm saying, brother? As in, like,
yeah.
understand how ownership and control works, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
unfortunately, what we're doing, or what I've observed happening, is you have coalitions and partnerships. Maybe it starts off with a black person and a European person or a Chinese or whatever. They come together and then they're working, and then the bounciness already, the leadership isn't there, and then the hiring, it already becomes diluted. Before you know it, it isn't a black thing. It's everyone. And from observed, or we've observed, is whenever black people come together with any group of people in any activity, whenever you shake the tree after a couple of weeks, days, or whatever, you'll find the darker the person is at the bottom, the light at the top, right? And this is something we've observed.
So,
right?
This is what I'll say to that is that I agree with you in what we observe, right? But this is the thing, is that we need to, and now we're talking about solutions. So I was just showing you at first that, you know, it's better for you to open yourself up to help to get to where you want to go, right? Now, what we need to improve on is getting our message through. You know, that's where, you know, maybe we could, you know, have an impact on. You feel me? That's what's not working for us.
So, you're dropping some good wisdom. I'm just gonna jump in. So I think what we do is when we tell stories, right? There's two types of stories we tell. There's success stories and failure fantasies. Yeah, a failure fairy tale, I should say. So success stories versus failure fairy tales, right? And I think whenever we're describing something, we always want to look towards success stories, right? And I think when we ever talk about black people doing stuff, we always go, you might need help, but really, black people have the skill set to do mostly anything, but we're divided. So if you look at the diagram here, I'm going to see if I can make it bigger. Maybe make it bigger for peace. So we white people's wealth and network practice, they kind of understand. It's like a web. They get it, right? And you can replace the white with maybe Jewish.
Not God. It was given.
Yeah,
that's how that system was designed. That's the reason why some people can't make it, brother.
And
this is the bit that I'm trying to explain to you.
No, we understand that, but this is more simple. So for it's like this, yeah. Can a black man own a shop?
Yep.
Yeah. Can a black man hire black people to work in the shop?
They can.
Can black people go to the shop and buy the stuff?
They can.
So, regardless of the super system that we know is controlling stuff, if that dynamic can happen, then we've got one micro dynamic that we can control. That's better. And then you step up. Can black people make music?
They can.
Can black people actually record the music themselves?
They can.
Can they actually distribute the music themselves?
They can.
Okay. So in that dynamic,
they can't.
Okay. Now
they can't. That's the bit where they can't.
No,
because that's run by them.
You know what he's saying? He's not saying, like, he's not talking about.
Yeah, I hear you, but these are all hypothetical things.
Yeah,
we
but
could all run the world.
Let me just get my point across. He's not talking about the situation that as it is now. He's saying, is it possible for black people to do it? That's what
of course it can.
That's why I answered yes. Yeah.
That's so my thing is, rather than focus on like the elephant in the tree or the thing that can't be achieved, simple steps. That's why it's called Black Betterment, right? And the rules of Black Betterment is black people working with black people on black issues. So if black people in the Caribbean, in Africa, in America are inventing so many music genres, but they're still being paid wages, then the Black Betterment blueprint is saying, why not actually have a business acumen where you're running the labels and you're distributing it, and also because you're not on the executives, if you have executives that practice Black Betterment, some of the topic matter that released will always be from an empowerment perspective. For example, right, when black people mistreat black people on records, where they say, this word, that word, this negative word towards black people, it's allowed, right? But when black people say towards certain groups who own the labels, they shut it down. They say, we won't let you disrespect our culture or undermine our people this way. And this happens as high as Michael Jackson, right? When he was. So I'm saying that when you own your own label, then those things don't happen, but you also be directing the kind of content needed to also promote even furthermore Black Betterment.
I agree with you. I agree with you, right? But take this in, right?
100%.
This is my point, is that look at the people that own the labels, man. They're not even in the position that they are today, but by themselves. It was handed to them, man. You know, the banking and the financial industry, the banking system, it was handed to them because, you know, the Anglican Christians, the white Christians were like, you know, the whole thing about interest and all this stuff, they looked at it in a negative light. But the Jews were like, okay, we're cool with that. We'll deal with the money, we'll deal with the interest, etc. So they dominated with the banking. They dominated with these with these labels because same thing. The white folk were like, yo, we don't even want to deal with the black folk.
Brother, everything you and the gentleman are saying, I can't even floor, right? But because I'm aware that black people are collectively inadequate, what's happening is we do the most extreme things in the most simple cases.
Called desperation.
Hold on, brother.
But
what we're saying here is we want to at least try and be stopped. But what we're saying is the trying, there is certain mindsets that don't see the trying. And we're saying when we identify the speaking patterns of where it's going. So I'm saying this. I'm saying black people should be looking to other black people to create things. So that's either a good idea or a bad idea. That's either a good thing to do, a bad thing to do.
I agree with that. But what I'm saying,
step one. So now it's to promote that concept, right? So it's like, okay, what can be achieved? So when we look through the community, there's certain things that's lacking. Now, if we can observe Asian, Jewish, Turkish, or whoever achieving in certain areas, then we know there might be a pattern that we can do to make that happen more consistent with black people, right? That's a simple.
Hold on, can I intervene here just really quickly? You think the Turks have made it? Because I'll tell you they haven't. I'll tell you they haven't. I'll tell you what they are.
What you're doing,
bow to the system
once again,
is controlling them.
Nigel needed. What we want to observe is right now, I'm saying that collectively, Turkish people have a better united way of operating. Yeah, Turkish people.
I'll disagree with that.
Okay,
again,
well,
I'm gonna tell you exactly how it is.
Hold on, brother. In comparison to black people, and what you're doing,
because you guys are more rebellious and you've got more of a stance to shout for, understandably.
No.
So again, like if you're being crushed, if people are being crushed, Turks haven't been crushed.
You might not be hearing me because I'm speaking. Can you hear me? Because I feel am I cutting out?
I have heard you.
Good. We're on different pages, right? And I'm saying what you're doing in your mind might be very beneficial to black people, but from a Black Betterment standpoint, it's one of the most dangerous things you can do.
No, it's a very realistic stance to take.
Hold on. Before you get there, regardless of how many people are going to try to stop black people like Turkish people, what we're saying is black people should focus on black issues and create industries and institutions run by black people for black people.
I agree with that.
Hold on, brother. Now, if what you're saying, so nothing so that means that everything else is now static in it, because right now black people do not desire to do that. Yeah, they do not desire to do that.
Not just Nigeria is at the moment. The whole of the Middle African belt is currently going through that. But it's a case of how they get there.
Right.
Like they didn't get there by standing alone. What they did is they got people in, built infrastructure, put politics in to take back control. I mean, that's how it's done. Please.
Who's the other people? Who's these other people? Who are you talking about?
Let me just add on. Let me just add on right quick. So basically, brother, I'm with you. We do need to start focusing on our own growth, etc. Right? But what I'm telling you is that even though we do that, right, what's gonna really propel us is being able to have allies that put us in certain positions, just like with anything else that you do in your life, right? And he brought up the situation that's happening in West Africa with these francophone countries, and that's one of the things I wanted to come up here and talk to you about. I put in the comment, I was like, yo, listen, until Africa is economically independent, and just independent for real, because we're not, you know what I'm saying? Even to this day, a lot of us, we got independence days, but we're not really independent. So until we're economically independent, we're always going to be looked at a certain way. because we don't control nothing, and that's why. Right,
brother, why ain't our allies destroying the IMF loan, brother? Because you
what's
talked
that?
about allies. Why ain't our allies? Because I know which allies you're referring to, right? Why haven't they destroyed the IMF loan, right? Which drained African people. Why haven't they destroyed these allies?
You talking to me?
Yes, my brother, I'm talking to you.
Yo. So did you hear what I said though?
You talked about you need allies, brother.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
the IMF is not an ally.
Hold on. I just want him to take a break and just understand what I said before we get into the next question that he has. So
I understand what you said, brother.
Can you repeat it to me, please?
You were referring to, right, that in order for this to happen, you need allies, right? So
what else did I say though?
Brother, I stopped when I heard need allies in order to do it.
Okay, so I said basically everything that the brother before me was talking about.
Allies, what you're referring to. I know you're not talking about African people, but you're on about non-African people, or you wouldn't say you would need allies, because the brother is speaking about black people collectively sorting themselves out and becoming one with one another, and you're talking about you need allies. So I know you're not talking about.
Okay.
Can I ask you a question? Do you reckon Africa could do this movement without Russia?
So
here's a very simple question. Do you reckon they could do it without Russia?
What's your question, bro? What's your question?
So once again, what we do is we put a very basic goal in front, and we run.
It's not a basic goal, bro. That's reality. You got to stop doing this.
Yo, hold on.
Hold on. Remember, so right now, hold on. Well, let the whole speaker. I will mute. So this show is, and we're demonstrating by now. So the Nigel Cooper brother is demonstrating his behavior, and the Easy Bands is demonstrating his behavior, and it's part of the thing we want to do a case study on. So the question is, when the topic is the importance and value of black people coming together to find solutions and to do things, right? The fact that we always have to mention, but we can't do it, this is part of the problem, right? This is part of the problem where one of the things we say is we can observe that unfortunately collective subservience is something we do really well, and that's part of the process. As in, black people are trying to talk about something, and then someone comes and goes, yeah, but we need non-black people for this, that, and third. We don't need to discuss that if the topic is Black Betterment. When the topic isn't Black Betterment, we can talk about all day. But if the topic is veganism, we have to talk about not eating meat. If we start talking about eating meat, then it's no longer veganism. So this topic is.
Do you mind me saying one thing? Even in veganism, you will still have that meat argument in there, though, wouldn't you?
Well, what? No, it wouldn't. Not in.
You would.
Okay, well,
you would.
Well, once again, you're causing confusion, which is fine because
it's not. No, it's not confusion. No, you got to stop doing this as well. This is just debating and talking.
Well, I'm highlighting to black people that what's happening, right? Because right now I'm talking to black people. I'm saying that as a collective group, especially in the UK, yeah, working as a collective group on black issues, and we're not doing that, right? Is the most important thing. Now, what? If I was a Chinese guy or a Turkish guy, or whatever, they would never need to mention black people at all. They'll never need to mention it. They'll go, that makes sense, and here's the reason why. I've only observed in the black groups where the first thing we do, and remember, because we're the masters of subservience, we've mastered that art form of subservience, right? Is what about other people? And then we start doing what we call failure fairy tales. We don't do success stories of when black people came together and worked out. We always do failure fairy tales. And
you got a lot of successes.
Hold on. Let him finish so I can respond back.
What I'm saying is, we're using this conversation as a case study to demonstrate the necessity of Black Betterment, and we're using our failure to recognize these things to always automatically go to certain points as a demonstration that we need to have philosophies to iron that out. We have to have ways of speaking where when black people come together, yeah, we suppress the need to always talk about non-black people, and we try to take it as far as we can. And I'm not saying you cannot hire or work with other non-black people. I'm saying that has to come from a place of power. Yeah? And how it comes from a place of power is establishing all the things you can do before you reach out and making sure all those bases are covered by black people.
Okay, can I respond now?
You certainly can.
So, all right. So this is what I'm saying, brother. What I'm saying is that, I agree with you, right? But then you have to look outside the box because we want to be in a certain position, right? How do we get to this next position? And I'm telling you that we cannot get there by ourselves as hard as we try.
Right.
Let me
So
give you an example. Hold on. Let me. You
let's give
see, you won't even
examples.
let me get it out, bro.
Hold on, brother, because what I remember,
You won't let me
Bro,
get
you
it out.
gotta let him
Let me
touch
get it
down,
out,
man.
and
He
then
let
you
you
can
just
tell me
run
I'm
it
wrong.
off.
you're going to finish. No, you're going to. I'm the host. You're going to finish. But just like for everyone who's viewing to remember, right? Sometimes it's easier for us to have tangible early goals rather than a universal goal, because the universal goal becomes very extreme and very hard to quantify, right? And I suspect that's where we're going.
You're gonna make me lose my point.
Write it down, brother. That's what I do.
All right. Are you done?
Yeah, go ahead. I said.
Okay. My bad. So let's see, where was I? So basically what I was trying to show you is that, let me give you an example, a perfect tangible example for you. Look at Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when most of us got our independence in the 1960s, right?
Okay.
But if you go there, it's still the 1960s in 2023.
Okay.
Right? The reason, and this is now a lot of us, right? Black, the governments are black, everybody's black, the president, the prime, all the ministers, all the, you know what I mean? Everybody's black, but we're still at the bottom. And that's why I was trying to show you that, we need to be able to manipulate, or to just the same way the Jewish community does, just the same way the LGBT, they do it. We need to be able to get allies that we can manipulate to put us in a certain position. They do it to us. Why are you afraid to do it to them?
All right. So
even the Turks do it.
I'm not going to disagree. What I'm going to say is this, right?
But you are. This is the thing. You are. You say this, but you are. Because what you then do is you go, right, but this is about Black Betterment.
It is about Black Betterment.
You are method
again. That is about Black Betterment. Your narrow descriptive of what Black Betterment is.
The non-black person who came on and didn't have an identity, but he's now saying dirt. I'm saying this. What you say is correct, brother. But one of the challenges you face, what you've described is, you've described unsynchronized corruption, right? So unfortunately, many black nations, even though they're run by
let him finish.
Is that color?
Let him finish.
Now remember, brother, we're observing method acting, we're observing self-sabotage and stuff. But it's okay, because this is a case study, and this is what it's about, to observe in real time how non-black people interact with black people trying to be constructive. Now, what we see, right, is there's much corruption, unfortunately, in many black political parties, right? And when we talk about the coups, a lot of the coups are actually addressing, if the coups are not controlled themselves, because I can't say, but if they're not, they're trying to address the history of corruption, history of...
Yes,
and
I
we see
agree.
what we're saying, how comes Africa has the most amount of resources, yet it's the most underdeveloped? Something doesn't add up. And then you look at such a small minority of people who seem to benefit. And then when you look at aid and stuff, you realize that they talk about aid, but it's almost like Africa gives out 80% of resources, only delivers 20% as aid. It comes down to that same thing that came in the video, where that you'll be.
Is it aid though, or is it like a money laundering system where you sell your uranium for 80 pence and what the real price is meant to be 208, and they send you £30 back? Like, is that called aid? Is that called aid? In your world, is that called aid?
Let him get it off.
Topic again, and I don't know if you're trying to help black people or not, which is, it doesn't
matter. I am. I'm definitely.
You're not trying to.
Okay, according to you.
Well, what I'm saying is, this must be, it's method acting. It's a very new experience to you, and remember, we do thank you for it. Because, we have to thank you because
method acting.
Let's break it down.
Seriously.
Let him get his start off.
I will.
The reason why this is good, because we're saying that what is today's topic, and the Turkish gentleman is displaying it very well, that we can have no allies. I think it's written down here. Yeah, no need for no black allies, right? And what I'm saying about this is, when you're in a place of power, then it shifts, right? In a place of power, then you can hire people from a dominance, and you can say, okay, here's how we're going to use this angle to benefit our people, right? But until you get in that place of power with a black empowerment, a black betterment, a B1 philosophy.
Do you mind me asking you, do you reckon Ibrahim Torres is doing wrong in Niger at the moment?
Once again, until I see the conclusion.
I'm just asking you. Well, I'm very simple question. You reckon Ibrahim Torres is doing negative in Niger at the moment?
It's fine. And my answer is, if there's nothing else going on behind the scenes, what the brother says and does, we support, right? He's trying to get more wealth and economics in his country, and he's throwing at people who are using it, and he's questioning as a young man.
How did he do that? By just being unifying with Africa, or did he decide to just look further afield?
So here's what it is, right?
No, don't do that. It is what it is. What was it?
Here's the answer, right? If that brother is in his country and he's networking with other generals and they're taking over and they're doing a coup, right? In that place, they are now they can now as power people with an agenda, right? They can now talk to other people, which is a political thing, right? This is a different thing.
That's the societal thing.
I've just answered you very well, but once again, you're causing confusion.
No, you haven't.
I'm saying
you're beating around the bush.
No. What it is you're causing confusion in
a
space. That's what it is.
Look, stop with this. Look, your mind and my mind are very similar biologically. Stop with this much of discrimination.
No. You came and you identified as Turk. So, and then you said you wasn't Turk, and then you
No. You asked me what I identify myself as, and I said to you, when I'm in England, I'm British. When I'm in Turkey, I'm Turkish. And when I'm in Russia, I will be Russian. That's what I said.
4 seconds, and then you can jump in because we do appreciate what you're saying. Here it is, brothers, right? Notice that the non-black person, and the topic is no need for non-black guys, is the one causing the most confusion. Yet the 3 black brothers in there. But have you noticed that? And this is why the people who watch in the future, this is the pattern, and it has never changed, and I've observed for many years. He will not be able to not do this. He won't be able to do it. He will struggle to actually be constructive amongst black people.
My dear fellow, what you're doing is you're sticking onto a mute point where you're not going to go ahead from. And we're trying to get you from that. That's all we're doing. Nothing else.
The Academy Award to cause disorganization amongst African people. Nonsense.
All right. Let's get back to the point, man. This is an important topic, and I feel like we should at least like give that respect, brother. I know. What's your name? The Turkish guy.
Hassan. You can call me Hass, bro.
Hassan. Yo, I know you mean well, fam. But at least let the host, it's his show, etc. Let him get it off, and try to keep. I know you're thinking. I know you're thinking like, yo, I need to get this important point out, but try to hold it in as much as possible, man. You feel me? Just for the show at least, and the listeners as well.
There you go. Thank you, brother. So what you're saying, brother, if black people come together in a place of power, and in a place of power, then they negotiate and they say, okay, we need to trade with this person or unite with this person, do that. In that context, if they're about their people and they use it from that context, this is something that we could say, because even the Haitian Revolution, right? From a place of power, the general said, okay, let us ally with this group and with that group for this strategic reason. But we have a Negro empire concept, right? We want to make it all black people free, and we want black people empowerment, blah, 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 blah. So from that standpoint, from a place of power, that's okay. The issue we're going to have is if we're not in a place of power, and before we even come together to negotiate the arrangement, we're talking about including non-black people from what we have seen. They will come in, and the same energy that we're seeing here will be on every single page. You will want to talk about a black dedicated stuff, and they will constantly try to find loops and try to push you. They'll never come and go, bro, like this black thing is good. Like, my community, we do really well. And technically, when you're not there, we mistreat you. But the fact that you're trying to come up from the ground, this is good. They'll never do that. They'll try to keep on saying you must be, friendship and this and allies and kumbaya and stuff, but they'll disrupt everything. And I'm saying the reason why this show is so beautiful and brilliant is because in our other show, we don't allow non-black people to come, but this show is for everyone. And we can actually see it happening. And I'm not saying that non-black people do this in the front of the mind. I think by osmosis, they've been trained to do this at the back of the mind, right? And that's why it's so dangerous that so efficient are non-black people when it comes to mistreating black people, that they can train their people to disrupt Black Betterment stuff just by the back of the mind. Whenever you see constructive talk, Stop it. He's talking about building a bank or building some. Make sure that we say it's good and make sure that we inject ourselves in there. And then when we need to, we can parlay this and parlay that and veto this. And I'm saying that this is something we've observed consistently. And today it's been demonstrated very correct.
Unethical code of conduct.
There you go.
Unethical code of conduct.
There you go. Thank you, Brother Kill.
So I mean, Hassan, I don't know if you want to respond, but I also have something to say. So go ahead.
Please, you go ahead. I'll patiently wait.
All right, cool. So in response, like I agree with everything you're saying. You feel me, brother? Because it's real. That's what happens. We have agents of confusion that they send. You feel me? When somebody's telling the truth, they'll send the ADL to come in there and just ridicule the person and censor the person, etc. So it's real. And we're basically saying the same thing, or should I say we're in agreement? But what I'm trying to point out is that as much as we want to work by ourselves, and we do have tangible examples of that, and I gave you the example of Africa, the reason why Africa is where it's at is not because of corrupt leaders. The corrupt leaders are playing their part in a role that was programmed for them. You feel me? And that's why when I came on the first time, I told you it's the system, but you didn't want to go there. So I said, all right, cool. But that's what it is. There's a system that's set up for them where they've got no choice. Either play ball or you get, or before they would take you out to a military coup. You might get assassinated, all types of stuff. You feel me? So you play ball. What does play ball mean? That means not doing what your people want you to do and doing what the investors, or should I say the white man, wants you to do.
So easy bands. Let me say this, right? When you talk to black people,
may I?
Let me jump in, then you can jump in.
Please go for it, host.
There you go. Of course, thanks. When you're talking to black people, there's such a diversity of mindsets, right? That we try to have a basic entry level way of operating to not confuse the masses, right? And because so many black people are subservient to non-black people, right, without knowing it, right? If we word things in a certain way, they will run with it, right? So we're having codes and blueprints and templates to put in to make sure that when we're communicating, it's always from a standpoint of ownership and power. So we don't. So naturally, you can't. And no group, well, very few groups can do one thing all on their own without the inclusion of someone else, right? It doesn't make sense, right? But we're saying that on a base level or a development or a preparation level, that can be done. And then once you're there and you've got your foundations, you can then look to populate certain other places with your own people and then choose other people for this service, that service, what you can't fill some kind of allyship that works on something. But what I'm saying is that concept doesn't exist in the mindset of black people, or many black people, right? I'm saying when you might want to go way above that, talk about geopolitical things and coups and stuff. I'm saying I'm going from a very basic early level, right? I'm saying the people who live in here, are not practicing black economics or black ownership well, right? And it's a mindset. And if we change that mindset, they will do it. But we have to neglect certain kind of starting talking point. And one of them is to mention non-black people, in an open forum conversation about Black Betterment, right? So the thing, how we could have said this is like, brother, I hear you. You're saying there's no need for black allies. So a good example I could give is, we want to start this shop or this bank or this thing. We come together, we build this thing. We get the black graphic designers, we get the black people who have building schemes. We come together, blah, 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 blah. And we paint success stories of that nature rather than straight go, but the thing is, the system's there and black people can't do it. And we have to talk. If we talk like that, we're constantly training black people for how we've been trained before, right?
But I'll let Hassan go and then I'll respond. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Is that all right, host? Do you mind me asking you one very simple question? So the mindset is you're not going to talk to any other person apart from black people, and that's somehow not going to somehow feed that racism just there. And then when it's time, you're going to then automatically just adjust to talking to white people. and knowing
So
their culture.
what you're
Sorry,
doing.
if you could not again. I'm
I'll break down what you're doing.
I'm just saying what you had said. That the fundamentals are going to take time. Host, can you just allow me to talk? Can you allow me to talk, host? I'm not hurt. I'm literally, as you talk, I go quiet, and as I talk, you open your mouth. It sounds like the only person hurt here, not me. I'm just being relaxed. I'm trying to get your logic on how this works.
I can answer the question you asked.
Please.
Shall I ask a question? All right. So first of all, the question is flawed. What you've done, you've taken three brothers talking about something, and you've built up.
No, I've just taken what you said.
I'll explain again.
You said that what you're gonna do is we're gonna, as a collective African, Jamaican, Black community, build all on that, and then when it's time, you're gonna go to the relevant parties, be it white, Black, Chinese, Indian, or other races.
I wasn't saying it like that, but I'm now saying like, the way
you did. You did.
Okay. So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. Okay. Now what?
Well, then that's not logical or feasible or even possible, because then you will have the same ethos as the Israeli guy when he will look at you and he'll be like, "No, I'm not doing business with you, bro."
All right. So what you're doing?
Right.
So yeah. Here's what it is, brothers, right? If you go up the road, you're gonna find a whole lot of Indian beauty shops, right?
Yep.
And they built up their beauty industry, and they network, and they make sure their stuff is written in Hindi. And if any non-Indian person, whatever, from the particular comes in, they log them off and they go, "No, this our thing," right? Even though they're
talking about Hindi, yeah.
Whoever, right?
Yeah.
Even though
you know who that's run by, don't you?
Yeah, but once again, you notice what the brother's doing. So
you use these examples that don't make no sense.
It makes perfect
you use these examples as if they're for your benefit. They don't. That industry, the beauty industry, is literally run by the same people that run every other industry.
Yeah.
Just written in Hindi. That's all.
Now, this brother is doing us a big favor, because the show is no need for non-black allies, and look what he's doing. This is a black
just proving you right, proving you wrong, because you're making this narrative that's false. It's not. It's false. Your narrative is false. Are you telling me that the Indian people have got them banked? Is that the Indian people that are distributing them? Is it the Indian people that money going into their banks? No, it's not. Is it going into their media campaigns? No, it's not. It's going into Israeli Jewish banks, mate.
Yeah,
okay. That's what it's going into.
Go on the Israeli show and tell them. I'm saying this, right? On the Black Betterment.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Yeah, but what you're doing is important. I want you to know.
No, it's not. What you're doing is you're diverting from facts and your reality of being wrong.
I'm very kind, but because what you're doing is showing that notice the black brother is finding a way to reason with me. The other black brother is finding a way to reason with him, and amongst ourselves, we're seeing the value work as a team. When we start getting somewhere, the non-black person who first didn't identify as anyone, but now he's a Turk.
Have you noticed I don't argue with the other non-black brothers, and I am with you? What is that because I'm categorically racist to you now, or is it maybe that you're not talking sense?
Kind of cause to make him unsynchronized with the narrative, because what you're doing does not make any sense at all. You're getting anxiety towards the fact that you cannot use an ethical code of conduct when there's a collective of black people unifying to come up with a solution of anxiety with that. And I've noticed
I was about to come up with a solution, and that is no one's asked for that. You got to break the system that's currently here, because it's not our system. It's not for us. It's not designed to ever be for us. It's designed for them.
That's true.
This is what I said to you. Until you do that, until you get that mindset where you got, that subservient, that guy that you keep calling yourself, stop being that guy. Stop being that, I need to do something for myself under their system. No, what you need to do, and I'll say this in a bit, because I have to say it for myself. If I want to do the betterment of my people, I can't do that in a foreign man's country. I've got to do that back in my own country.
So once again,
And to have that mentality of doing it in another man's country is just going to show you how much they've marketed you to think that you have that ability.
I'm going to mute. I'm going to mute you.
But the Ottomans were doing it other people's countries. You see, you just fell to your own trap again. You fell into
No, they're doing it through Jewish banks.
Let me just
but they were doing it in other people's countries.
I've just muted the Turkish individual. Here's what it is, right? And this is good what he's doing. He's demonstrating what we're saying, right? What happens when you try to put a simple concept, people try to make it the most epic end thing, destroy the system. Yeah, it's good, right? Destroying the system is a stage work. If you're going to destroy something, it's not going to happen tomorrow. But we're saying while the system is here, there are easy wins you can do to improve your day-to-day here that Black people are struggling to do, right? Right. So he's shaking. We've given examples of Asian people who only own business and are doing better than Black people who don't own a business and shop in their business. It's just a small example. And we're saying within the resources and the networking now, you can do that, but it comes from the mind change. He does. The non-Black person, the person who's on a Black Betterment show, he will never agree to it. He is valuable to us. This individual is very important.
Can I
demonstrating why Black people are where we are, because this kind of sabotaging triggering that he does. But go ahead.
Can I add on to what you're saying? So when this is what I want to add on, and it's part of it's solution based. So when you look at these other groups that you mentioned, so for instance, the Chinese and the Indian, the Indian people, right? This is what the first thing that I came in here saying is that we're not gonna see really like a universal Black betterment until Africa sees that same success first, right? So you see the Chinese, you see how they're successful. That's because they have a base. They have China that's also successful. India, same thing. India just sent people to the moon. You feel me? So India is very successful right now, and that's showing even here in the West. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm in Canada. It's certain cities, bro, that's run by them. Like, yo, like everything. You know what I'm saying?
Run by who?
What's that? By like Indians from India.
So let me stop you there. So that's my point. So what I'm saying is, the Indians. Yeah, here's what it is. Right, we're on the same page. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any Pan-Africans, any Black Better or whatever, they understand the importance of Africa or the Caribbean, or a place where there's some form of Black leadership going on, controlling their resources. And the idea could be you could be based in Canada, right? And you could make a share bar or whatever thing, and you're shipping it back and forth, and you're doing the same thing that the Indians are doing, but you're creating your way. But the thing is, the mindset isn't that way. And the mindset isn't that way for many reasons, right? But what we see is the kind of disruption you see in this kind of thing, where Black brothers are trying to build, and the non-Black person is, it's never going to work. Let's unite and fight the system. I see that all the time. It's clockwork, right?
So
it's clockwork.
So this is what. All right, this is another solution. Well, it's the same. It's based on the same focus. So basically, what I'm saying is that until we see Africa getting economic independence and any other independence you can think of, until we see Africa getting independent, we don't have that base where even, because what we go by, you know what I'm saying, it's a media show, right? Everything is a media show. We're programmed how to think, like you're saying, by the media. Now, if they keep on showing us images of Africa in poverty and you know, kids with flies on them, famines and all types of stuff, it's just natural that people are going to look at us and think of us that way. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, we go. So
what you're saying is fantastic, right? It is fantastic. And what we have to identify is whenever we put philosophies in place that if someone reads it, it might allow them to stay where they are. So it should be a collective effort to do that to Africa. But as that's happening and the progression happening, meanwhile, everyone is still moving in the same direction, right? And there needs to be a principle of how that happens. So, for example, you can build up your own economics for the best you can before Africa becomes free and liberated, right? You can, right? Hold on. When Africa's free and liberated, it would be a better thing. But what we can't say is in the diaspora, say, wait until Africa gets their thing together. It has to be, we will work in unison with Africa to get better. In the same time, where we are, we will try to build up our ownership and economics where we stand, right, to the best of we can. In order to do that, we need philosophies, right? So the philosophies we're talking about here comes down to have you ever heard of diffusion of innovation? Have you ever heard that, brother?
No.
I'll explain to you. It's very important. So basically, right now, the idea of the innovation we're talking is, let me ask you this question as a hypothetical, right? If every single black person felt the way me and you felt, right? As in, we generally want to work with other black people and push forward, right?
Yeah.
If that was the case, would you think that black people would move forward further than they are now, or less? What would you think?
I think we'd be at the same position or even worse.
So what
because
you're saying,
you know why? Let me just explain why. Let me just explain why. Because the way the system is set up, if you start trying to think for yourself, you know what I'm saying, you end up becoming an enemy of state. And then what happens is the media will paint you out to be an extremist, rebel, and whatever you get coming to you, you deserve it.
I'm sensing the conquered African brother, Raven. Am I sensing the conquered African brother?
Yeah, you are. So, brother, I'm just gonna give you some the frame that we're dealing with, right? And let me know if it makes any sense to you, right? So, what we say is because ultimately what people are saying is the do nothing philosophy, paint like such a big finish line that nothing can happen before you hit the finish line. So we have two concepts, right? And the two concepts is the conquered African and the conquering African, right?
Yeah.
So the conquered African, whenever we're describing something, they will always say a full stop thing like, we can't do this, and if we do this, this will happen, and the only way we can change is this massive thing that could take a very long time and has to be done with everyone singing and doing stuff. That we would see that as a conquered African, right? Or a conquered black person. The conquering black person goes, brother, I hear what you're saying, and I want to work with you, and better me work towards something than stopping and hoping for, that ain't gonna happen, right? So if I can see that person over there is progressing, I will try, yeah? And I'm saying that if the Indian man and the Chinese man is in the same system and they can be in a better position than black people, then there is a possibility that.
Can I respond to that? So basically, with your analogy of the conquered man and the conquering man, I guess I'm the conquered man in this analogy.
Well, it's like this. If everything I say, everything we say, so here's what it is, right? And this is where last week we described the 5 stages of grief, you said, right? And here's what it is. I'm gonna break it down for you, and let me know if it makes any sense to you. Yeah.
All right.
So what we say that when black people find out about global anti-black racism, being collectively inadequate, and collectively having no friends, yeah, when we tell them about this and say that the solution or a solution is a lifestyle of Black Betterment, meaning that everyone's switched on what to do and doing it whenever they can, whether it's in stealth or whatever, right? It's knowledge is power, all that kind of stuff, right? So we say, when we tell them, they go through the 5 stages of grief. The first stage is denial, and they're saying things like, black people are doing fine. I know some rich black people. There's no such thing as racism. That's stage 1. Sometimes people get past that stage and they go straight to stage 2, and that's anger. It's like, you're a racist. I'm offended by that statement. All you ever talk about is race. Yeah, they do that. They're in the anger stage, and then sometimes they go way past that and they go to the bargaining stage. It's like, black people are a social construct. Love has no color. We should work with non-black people. This is the bargaining stage, right? Where the boss is like, technically, who are black people? Am I a black person?
Bro.
Let me finish. We're learning. And then, then they might go to the depression stage where it's like, there's nothing we can do about the condition. Black people are useless. No, or we have to wait for the big spaceship to come or for the system to change.
Let me
acceptance.
Let me respond to that right quick, bro.
Go ahead.
What you're doing is something dangerous, right? It's something that liberals do. When you have a different opinion, they will try to put you in a box and then paint that box up to be something, something else. And that's what you've done, which is it's not entirely true. You see, because I'm saying the way you try to describe me. That's why I was laughing. I was
but before you finish. We can't describe.
I swear I'm gonna lose my point, bro. That's probably
right now. I'm the host, and you're tapping in. And
You're right. My bad.
5 stages of grief, right? This is a framework. If what you're saying can connect the framework, so if it doesn't, it doesn't. We're saying we are trying, to create a lifestyle where black people are working together on solutions constantly, right? And we don't move the goalposts. We don't keep on saying it can't be done, or we don't put ourselves in a position where we can't do anything. Part 2. Go ahead.
So this is what I'm saying. Why I said that it's untrue the box that you're trying to put me in is not a realistic one, because I'm not saying that it can't be done. I'm actually trying to give you a solution. What I'm doing, this is the thing. You're trying to put a band-aid on the problem. I'm trying to identify the problem and surgically go in there. When I'm talking about what I'm talking about, it goes all the way up, fam. You see? What I'm saying is, yo, look, the reason why black people are at the bottom right now globally, any country you go to, why we're at the bottom, it has a lot to do with Africa and the way people look at Africa, right? So what I'm saying is we need to make sure that Africa gets independent if we want to change the way we're seen around the world, and like the universal betterment of the black population. Now, how do we do that? Right?
I was saying this is the next one.
This is the part that I haven't gotten to get out. I'm saying so how do we do that, right?
I thought you were asking. You're just prefacing what you're going to say, right? Because I'm going to answer how you do that, but do you have your own version?
Oh, you're about to answer. All right. Cool.
Yeah, I'm answering the question. Yeah. That's what, because we have answers on the show. Right?
All right, cool. So all right, let me just give you mine right quick then.
Give me your answer, and then we'll give you our answers.
Right. Right. So how we do that in terms of Africa is Africa needs to find new allies to align with, right? Because there's a system that we're under, right? The brother brought up the IMF, the World Bank, all these entities that are run by NATO and the US and the EU, etc. They have set the conditions, right? They use certain tactics to control the way we operate. The latest tactic that they're using now is this global warming thing, where they're stopping African countries from industrializing. You know what I'm saying?
So your solution, just to be clear, is to look for allies.
So what's happening now is you can see there's a global shift, and a lot of these European countries are very worried, right? Like, for instance, we look at France. France is terrified right now with what's going on, because for so long they've been exploiting West Africa and getting uranium. You just said the prices they were getting it for, right?
And you hear the thing, just so you can educate the people. You're saying that your ultimate solution is for those Africans to look for allies. Is that correct?
Is to look for it, just like I think Hassan was trying to bring this point as well. Is like so look at the countries that are having coups in West Africa. What's going on? What they're doing is they've realized, and these are the worst of the worst, like undeveloped African countries. Sometimes it takes the last to be first. You feel me? So I in terms of they're the first African countries trying to fight for true independence.
Yeah, cool. So, bro, here's what it is. Because let's hit and quit, right? And I'm gonna say is, we all have certain levels where we agree and disagree. I do disagree with what you're saying. And the things you've mentioned are problematic, right? The solution we have are as follows, right? When you say that people view Africa, right?
But let me just ask you this: Did you get my?
I got your drift. The drift was good. Yeah, but I'm adding to it. Yeah, and is that this? If we say, for example, that black people, that the way people view Africa is wrong, that means what could happen is we can actually run media stations as an agenda to repackage how people perceive Africa, right? You can do your own propaganda things, you can do your media, you can do all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
That can be an agenda, meaning that right now, what I want to do is I want to go work for a guy, find a non-black woman and have a family, right? But if I have a Black Betterment mindset, it might be I'm going to find a constructive black woman, I'm going to raise a constructive black family, I'm going to network with these three brothers here and there. We're going to create a media company, and the media company is dedicated to showing the good side of Africa. Another brother might do the same thing. So now you have two industries doing that thing, right? Maybe they network, maybe they exchange stuff. That would influence others. So now we have a cultural thing where black people make media hubs. And let's say it starts with YouTube. And I'm just going to give you, and it becomes popular. With the money they make or generate through however it is, or fundraising, they can now make their own platform, right? These are hypotheticals, right? Their own platform, because as they're trying to promote Africa, it gets shut down on YouTube. So now they have made their own platform. They might use PCs in Zimbabwe and programmers in Uganda. But what we're teaching is the Black Bear mindset, right? always trying to adapt, always trying to like, this is the agenda. We know things are going to shut you down. We're going to try to adapt because it's black. But what we say is we can't end the story by going, how we're going to progress is find non-black allies. And we can't do that.
Bro, that
might be part of the thing, but we can't say that.
But this is what I'm doing, right? Is that what you're doing is putting a band-aid on the problem. What I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to show you is that, this is how to surgically repair the whole crisis. You feel me? And I'm telling you, it starts from the top. And let me just get this off. And that's why I showed you Africa as the best example, because if we start just doing the betterment thing that you're saying, we've tried that stuff. And what happens? Let me show you. Let me give you some examples. Hold on. Let me give you some examples. We've done that in Africa. We've done that. We've bettered ourselves, etc., and we fought for independence and stuff like that. And it's even worse than, the situation is terrible basically over there. In the U.S., you had all these financial districts built by black people, and what happened? They were all burnt down. What you're saying is that, look, let's better ourselves in their system. What I'm trying to tell you is that, we're always going to be in this position where some of you would be allowed to get to better yourselves, but a whole lot of you guys will get kept down. That's what I'm trying to show you.
Let me ask you this question, right? Mm-hmm. In Canada, who's collectively economically doing better? The Indian community or the black community?
Who's economically better?
Yeah, doing better.
It's the Indian people, and that's why I showed you why.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what we're saying is, before we destroy the system, right? Is it possible for the black person to match or be better than the Indian person in Canada?
No, and I explain to you why. Because look at India and look at Africa.
Right. Okay.
Look at India and look at Africa, and that's
it's
like a mirror. It's like a mirror.
The Indians are benefiting from Africa, brother.
What?
See, the East Indians are benefiting from Africa. This is very unsynchronized. That we can overthrow the Indians, brother, if we practice nationalism, Black Betterment nationalism.
Yeah, they are. I'll agree with that. They're benefiting from Africa too. But my point is, for just to answer the host, he said in Canada, how is it represented? And the truth is that the Indians are doing way better. They have their own cities over here that, you go to the city and, they have temples and all types of stuff, but it's like a mirror reflection of Africa and India. India is sending spaceships to the moon, and Africa is still in a position where we don't even have any satellites out there or anything.
Do you know that there was a Pan-Asian movement, brother? Do you know that there was a Pan-Asian movement? And do you know in 1830,
I agree,
that the East Indians sat down and decided that they want to keep the rice company, brother? Do you know that they did that?
Yeah.
So you're trying to say that we can't do the same thing as African people, brother, even though Pan-Africanism, nationalism.
So hold on. I never said we can't do that. Basically, what I'm saying is that's what we need to do.
Okay, so look, so it's like this, right? What's your views on? Because you're in Canada, right? You're in Canada. Yeah. What's your views on marrying a black woman?
Marrying a black woman, for me, it doesn't. For me, right now, as things are, I don't have any views on that. It's like,
ask the question. I'm saying, as in, ultimately, right? Are you someone who thinks that as an African that you should marry another African or a black person, or you'll marry anyone?
I can marry anybody.
Okay, one. So two. Let me just go back to the thing. Two.
You see, now you're doing the dangerous thing that liberals do and try to put somebody in a box. That's what you're about to do. But go ahead.
What are your views? Hold on, brother. What are your views on black economics? So black people networking with business, black people patronizing each other's business, black people teaching each other business skills. What is your views on that?
What's my view on black people like having their own business or like just network?
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I agree with that.
So on the executive level of those businesses, it's all black people, and they're looking to hire black people to fill the spots. Are you okay with that?
It depends where you're at, because it's not realistic.
No. This is because this is where we go around the horses. You're in Canada. Do you mind? you can keep it secret. Would you mind if you let me know what country you come from, or is that secret?
I'll just keep. Well, I'm from Zambia, to be honest, but yeah.
Zambia. Okay, so you're Zambian who's migrated to Canada. Am I right?
Yeah. Word.
Okay. So and then there's obviously a black community there already, right? You see them there, right?
There's a black community here
in Canada. Am I correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Right. So what we're saying is we use this test because we ask you about black love and black economics, and usually whenever people are a bit, then we understand that. That's why we can never be on the same ground. So here's what it is, right? I want you to be to progress, and if you help black people, that's a good, that's a great sign, and we love that. But
and I'll give you an example on that, and we'll talk. But go ahead, finish your.
So the two examples, the two things we have to agree, because right now we actually haven't agreed on much. To be fair, we say we agree, but we don't really. And this is what it comes down to: the black people.
Let me
jump in because it's a good point. The black people I work with, and the black people I work on behalf of. With us, we might not be able to work together directly because our views will make us do things that what might jeopardize certain stages, right? So from an organization standpoint, we might not work together, but from an osmosis standpoint, we can work together. If what you confess is you want black to progress and you're going to work towards that, however you want to do that, good luck to you, right? But when it comes to black betterment and actually finding other people, we won't be able to, because right now I've asked you a question about black love and black economics, and you haven't given me the pro-black response. So a pro-black response would be like, I understand the importance of black families, black women, and I understand that there's some, that if your wife is your first business partner,
you do realize that you're being your own worst enemy right now, because not only are you now
best enemy,
not I'm telling you, you're being your own worst enemy, because not only are you alienating potential allies, now you're alienating maybe even half the population of black people by what you're saying.
Now, this is something that you might never know, right? Do you know about the Afro, the style of the Afro?
Yeah, I know about the Afro.
There's a chance that your parents might have had it in the 70s. Is that correct? Maybe.
Right? They did.
Now, why is this important? Because this is what we're talking about, the diffusion of innovation, right? Meaning Black Panthers and some of the brothers around there and some of the celebrities, they decided, look, in order to show a form of black power, right? Let us wear our hair natural. The reason why this is important because it's easier for us to do, and we can also market products from our own companies best suited for us. So it's an economic plus representation plus self-improvement campaign. So they did that. And before you know it, in the UK, in Zambia, in Canada, in all those places where black people were, they said, let's follow suit. They did this by osmosis, right? It happened naturally, right?
So let me ask you this. So what were they rocking before the Afro, in your opinion?
So before the Afro was happening, from a marketing standpoint, there was a lot of European style hair, right?
In Africa?
I'm going to talk, because remember, we're going to talk about the actual Afro as a style, right? Yeah, which we find over the place, but we're not talking as a marketing standpoint. So, for example, black people working with black people has happened since the dawn of time, but as a marketing standpoint, it's something that it needs to be articulated. So I'm going to have Afros articulated rather than I'm born and that's naturally have it. It's articulated. So we're saying that there's in every single when ideas come in, we identify the 2.5% that's known as the innovators, right? The innovators.
Okay.
I'm gonna speak and then you're gonna jump in. It's very important. Yeah. Now the innovators come up with ideas. So for an example, the idea was Afros, right? The innovators then give those ideas to the early adapters, right? So the early adapters take it and they're trendy and they push it out there, and then everyone loves it and then it becomes normal. Then in that population, wherever it might be, how you define it, the next is the early majority. They start doing it. So now you've got this percentage of people doing the same thing. This is where you go past critical mass of 30%. Now the late majority comes through, and you've got a massive percent of people doing something that they didn't even know they were doing by osmosis, right? And then the only people who reject are they called the laggers, right? The 16%. And they will always fight change for whatever reason unless you force them by government. Yeah. And you don't need that percentage to have a change of an idea or innovation, right? So what I'm saying is right now we're talking the way that's being taught to us, right? But we need black people who value black love, black business, black economics to talk in a way where they say, here's what we're gonna do, and they have to be of a small minority to push out that kind of narrative. Because if not, the narrative that's been beforehand will be the talking point. That's why we can't seem to actually get a forward kind of
You
step.
see, let me respond to that. I think what you're doing, bro, is that whenever I bring up an opinion, you don't take this in. Whenever I bring up a point, you don't attack the point. You're starting to attack the individual. So you're saying, the reason. No, let me just finish. The reason why you're saying the reason why we can't work together is because you don't represent this or you don't represent that. That's what I'm saying. If we could have an intellectual discussion on the points that I'm talking about, that would be so much more interesting, because there's no way. Listen, bro. Let me just finish. There's no way you can tell me that you're more pro-black than me because of my dating. So hold on. Let me just finish. Because I have black family, I have grandparents, I have I'm saying, like, yo, I'm literally black. Like, there's no way you could tell me that, oh, you're more pro-black than me, because
that's a distraction. That's a distraction. And I'll let you know, this is a good back and forth we're having, because we're teaching people listening, right? It's very simple, isn't it, right? There are ways we can behave that is for the collective benefit of black people, right? And articulating what that is makes sense. But I've started by saying we're collectively inadequate. This is a demonstration of that, right? So we're looking for the small minority who are adequate to become part of the innovative stuff. If you don't value black love, black economics, and you can't stay on course with that, then you will have to come as of a late majority or a lagger in this concept.
You see, and so who gives you the right to make that determination?
So this is what's important, right?
Who gives you the right to make that determination?
So I'm gonna let you know now. This is that they know, right? Whenever people innovate, whenever they innovate, they make something. They don't get any permission, right? They do the task. They get the people on board who are synchronized with that concept, and then they sell the task. If that task is successful and makes sense, it goes by osmosis, it just grows, right? And that's what they call it, hitting the critical mass, right? So what's like this? It makes no point for people who have different ideologies to sit down and talk about this, that, and the fourth when there's a clear agenda that's what now, brother, let me say this, right? I wish you well. Here's how I mean it, right? There's two things.
You're talking to me like I'm the Turk guy now, bro. Like, you see what's going on.
Hold on, bro. Let me finish the jump.
Yeah, don't worry, bro. It gets better. Trust me. He's gonna put you on mute soon.
Yeah, let me finish jumping, right? So we say you can either compete, or collaborate. So if the goal, so I'm saying the goal is for black people to.
Or you could just go with the system.
There you go.
Well, I've kept quiet for a while, bro. So what's your issue with me, cuz?
Keep going. Let me just finish the brother, and then you can jump in with the disruption, right? Here's what it is, right? So you either compete or collaborate. So here's what it means, right? Let's just say that I'm trying to help. If the goal is to help black people collectively, right? Let's say I help 1 million people. If you join what I'm doing, we can help 2 million, right? But you might say, you know what? Because of these strict rules and the way you love black women and this kind of stuff, I'm all for that, right? So I'm gonna compete against you with my way, and I'm gonna help 1 million as well. Well, that's fine, because I've helped 1 million, you've helped 1 million, 2 million helped. So when we collaborate, so I'm saying to go with peace. I'm saying that because we've been doing this for so long and successful and we're growing, and this is not the first time we've had a conversation, by the way, right? So we identify what we call the open door elite, right? And it's a very important word because it causes anxiety, makes people get angry and stuff, but it's a very important word. We are open door elites, meaning we have an idea, a concept, and any black person who wishes to do it, they're welcome. But we understand that there's some rules that they just don't agree with. Like, what, you have to love black women? Oh no. What, you have
so let me.
That's fine. Brother, you find a solution to the side of your blessing, and if it works, follow it. We'll follow on our side, but here's what we're doing. Here's the plan, and you're welcome to join if you follow these rules for this purpose. Does that make sense?
So then this is why everything that you're doing and saying is a contradiction, because you're talking about black betterment, but at the same time you're alienating black people. So you know what I'm saying? So this is why, like, I try to have these conversations or get into these spaces, and then I realize, like, yo, this is just a joke, bro. Because at the same time,
because you remember when you make statements like I do, we can jump on the statements, right? So here's what it is, right? I am promoting something, If you other black people don't want to do it, that's fine, right? So me personally, because I practice black betterment, you as a black person, if time permitted, I can always help you individually to do what you're doing. And that's what we call pro bono. Yeah. However, we have initiatives that we're doing, right? And certain rule sets. Whenever those rule sets are met, it's called a Black Betterment. It's a Black Betterment from the Black Betterment blueprint, right? So we split people who practice Black Betterment into two styles, right? The Black Betterers. Now, the Black Betterers are constantly looking to work with Black people, do Black issues on all things, marriage, economics, health. It's constant, right? You will be called a Black Betterer. Many Black people can't be that. It's not a peanut at the moment. It's very challenging. It's a small minority. The other one, and this is how we do not isolate people, right? Because historically, pro-Black people were so pro-Black that when people weren't pro-Black, they were isolated. They couldn't actually interact, right? We're saying with the lifestyle we're promoting, you can. And how can you? There is a variant. Let me finish you jumping. Called the Black Betterment Builders, right? And what that means is, if you're a Black person and you want to practice what we define as Black Betterment, the lifestyle, if you do one activity that is dedicated to Black people and you declare it, right, and you're consistent with that, then in that area you will be seen as a Black Betterment builder. You won't be a Black Betterer because your universal theory doesn't correlate, but there is a place for you in an individual place, and that's how we are having our thing and invite everyone to.
But don't you?
We have a premise, and we invite if you follow these rules. If you don't, peace be with you. Yeah.
But don't you see the discrimination and the alienation that you're doing yourself? Like just like with the whole thing that you described, right? Let me just finish. It is, and it's the same thing that a lot of people do. That, you know what I'm saying? That how can I put this? It's just the reason why. It's the exact same reason why we're not progressing. You brought this whole conversation of how come we're at the bottom, etc. It's because of things like that. Let me give you an example of the Jewish. Let me give you an example of the Jewish people. Right? They said, let's differentiate ourselves from everybody. Right? Let's blah blah blah. And what they did is they brought upon themselves laws, 613 laws, commandments that they had to live by to be this person. And what happened? Disaster, because none of them could live by it, right? So they brought on upon themselves plagues, they brought upon themselves war, they became slaves, etc., because of God's wrath, because they said, oh, let's put these laws in ourselves, so and live by these laws, and be held by God. You feel me? And so what did God say? All right, you guys want these laws, here you go. And if you don't live by these, I'll bring destruction upon you. And so my point, let me just summarize my point.
God gave the Jews the wrath because they made their own thing.
Let me just summarize my point. So basically what I'm saying is, when you try to start putting laws on yourself, what you're doing is you're enslaving yourself. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to enslave a whole bunch of Black people to say, you must think like this, you must do this, you must act like that. And they're gonna fall short. But go ahead.
Brother, so you're in the bargaining stage, and it's like this, right? Look how easy this is, right?
You see, you put me in a box, just like the liberals.
You're in that box, and jump out.
You see, that's some.
Can I ask you a question? You know, I had 3 of the 5 solutions on there, and you didn't listen to them.
He didn't listen to my solutions, bro. He's just putting me in the box like the liberals.
Your solution, if I'm clear, was to find better allies. Okay.
What?
That's fine. That's what your solution was. Find better.
Mine was to break the system.
That's not what I said.
We're not talking at the moment. We're talking to Easy Bands official. I'm saying that when I asked you for a solution, you told me that. I told you Black Betterment.
That's not what I said, bro.
Watch this. Let me say.
That's not what I said, though.
I know. Oh, I'm going to say. You're going to say that's very important. So look at this, right? I've said that this, right? Certain Black people understand the importance of rules, right? And we're saying that peace be all to Black people, but a small minority are going to have a very particular way of operating to highlight certain things and be dedicated to those things, because unfortunately we're not in certain areas. Now, if a person wishes to join that, they can. If they don't, so be it, right?
I'm telling you right now that
but what you've done, you've become that kind of self-sabotaging agent by every time someone's just now making a suggestion in isolation from something else, you get, oh, you're causing division, this is wrong, this is bad. This is self-sabotage, brother. Because if you told me you've got some new way of practicing betterment and it's rolling in pain and begging white people, I disagree. I go, okay, that's what we're going to do. But you go, I can say, look, if that's what we're going to do, you do that, right? We'll do this.
What I'm saying is,
not only should we not do that, what we're doing is wrong.
What I'm saying is, brother, you're the one performing self-sabotage right now, because what you're doing is you're excluding black people from the betterment that you're actually talking about. You're now coming in and saying, yo, look, you have to do this, you have to do that, you have to do this, you have to do that in order for you to qualify for this black betterment that I'm pushing. So what you're doing is you're self-sabotaging.
Shall I give you the example, right? So we'll break it down. This is good because what you're doing is what we're trying to teach you for. So let's break it down. I work with the organization process. Can you see there? I work on behalf of. So for example, right? If you've said something very clear, you said that the images of Africa is negative, right? And that's because of propaganda by anti-black racists. Do we agree on that historically, right?
But all right, before we agree on that, can you clarify what I actually said to you the solution is? Because you misquoted me, man.
You said the solution was we have to find different allies to help break the system. Am I correct in what you're saying?
To help change the system, yes.
Yeah, okay, cool. And that's cool. And that's fine. And you and your collective should do that. Go do that, right? Now, here's what I'm saying is this. In the things that we are doing, we identify there are black people we work with and black people we work on behalf of, right? And the black people we work with, this is the organization process. Now, you described that, unfortunately, you said that because people view Africa badly, it has a whole lot of negative impact on people. We're saying, the Black Betterers, we're going to come together with black people who marry black people, have black businesses, create institutions, and market and brand Africa in a more positive light, but also work with African people and Caribbean people and African American people in a process of betterment, right? We're going to do step by step. We're going to do it.
But which ones? Only the ones that agree with the way the draconian laws that you're trying to put on them. You must do this. You must do that.
So I'll break down. Not really. So what it is when it comes to a Black Betterment initiative, the Black Betterers work together. However, there's things that we call pro bonoism, right? So for example, I don't know who you are, but let's just say pretend that you are married to a white woman or a non-black woman, and you don't believe in black betterment. You believe in working with Turkish people and helping Turkey. That's fine. If you came to me and you said, "I need to get a job. I'm struggling. Can you help me with my CV?"
All right. Do you mind me asking you one thing? So if this guy did that and he was working with Turkish people and the Turkish company that it helped,
just have to mute. You can jump in afterwards. I know no one can hear you, but I'm sure it's really good.
So if they're open companies in Africa,
I want to hear what you're saying, but just after I'm saying it. Yeah, I want to hear what you're saying, but after I've said it, right? So I would help you. It's pro bono, but it would never be registered as a Black Betterment thing fully because we're not synchronized on the same thing. But our pro bono, you help you do that things, right? But you won't be part of a building process because we don't share the same ideology. Go ahead, brother.
All right. Yeah, I'll let
all right. So 1 second. So if the brother that I'm working with, according to you, that he's not for Black Betterment. Now, if he's worked with me and I've got a company connect that I can open a company in Africa, how is that not benefiting the Africans?
Oh no, I'm sure that's benefiting.
Again, this is what I'm trying to say. Like, it's really constrained your ethos.
Everything I say will confuse you.
No. You're not that smart.
Let me just respond to him right quick. Yo, brother, do you know that? All right, so what you're doing is very detrimental, and this is the biggest problem that we have. This is the biggest problem that we have actually as Black people is that we find ways to disqualify each other. If you look at what's been happening, say for instance, in Black America, you will find that the host, for instance, you're a light-skinned guy, bro. You look like you have mixed blood in you. Am I wrong?
Yeah, so
hold on.
It's very interesting. It's a very good point. So here's what it is, right? Black people from the Caribbean are kidnapped from Africa. And unfortunately, the women in our group were forced to be impregnated, right? So you're going to find that almost every single Black person, unfortunately, is going to have European DNA, right? And it will vary between, right? What we're saying is,
But bro, let me. I just didn't finish.
What we're saying is we don't care. What we're saying is
I didn't finish my point though. I was trying to get a point across.
It's a very good point. It's a very good point, right? Because people usually say this as a method of black people being kumbaya with non-black people. Like, yeah, but you've got European in your ancestry, and I'm from Africa. And it's like we don't. We're like, here's what it is, right? we identify the conquered African and the conquering African.
I'm trying to tell you, yo, bro.
You're in Canada and you're talking that way. You're going to that way.
I'm trying to. What I'm trying to get across to you is the same way that you're trying to exclude me from the conversation or from this Black Betterment thing. Other black people are gonna do the same thing to you as well. And matter of fact, if you go to Africa right now,
it wouldn't matter.
So hold on, right now, if you go to Africa right now, hold on.
But why would that matter?
So hold on, if you go to Africa right now, they'll call you a white man. You know what I'm saying? In some places. So hold on.
You know that, brother. You know that Mahatma Gandhi had Ethiopian ancestry, brother. Did you know this? Mahatma Gandhi.
No, I didn't know he had Ethiopian. You know that. But what's that got to do with what I was saying?
Hold on. Ed J. Hoover had African ancestry. Did you know this, brother?
I didn't know that.
Now, these two, brother,
what's that got to do with what I'm saying? You see, you're listening to me, but you're not hearing.
Hold on, brother. If you can allow me to finish, these two individuals had African ancestry, brother, and still helped out Asian and European supremacy. You see, so you can have an admixture or whatever in that, and still have the code of conduct of having your.
I'm not saying you can't, bro.
Because what you do, you put it on synchronization, brother.
Listen, let me just clarify. Let me just clarify what my point was. I was not saying that he can't do. Look, I'm not saying that because he has mixed blood or whatever that he can't do the betterment. That's not at all what I'm saying. I'm saying the opposite. What I'm saying is he's trying to exclude. He's trying to alienate, for instance, me, right, and put me in this box. And I'm telling him that this is the biggest problem that we have as black people is that we try to exclude each other. And what I was saying in terms of,
I'm answering your question now. You're wrong. The biggest problem is we try to include everyone. That's the biggest problem, right? The world isn't run by everyone. The world is run by a small number who has everyone's best interest at heart, and they set the agenda. That's what we call the innovation. We can't have a whole lot of people talking about light skin, dark skin, Africa, Caribbean, America. It doesn't work.
This is my point, bro. This is my point.
Bro, let me finish and then you jump in, right? No one here has told about ethnic group, background, and lineage, right? We said if you qualify as a black person, a Negro, African descendant,
my point is some people won't look at you as a black person.
Yeah, but it wouldn't matter because when you form elites, it doesn't matter what someone.
So hold on. You're saying when you qualify as a black person. My point to you is that
it wouldn't matter.
My point to you is that
what he's saying is that some people are the majority.
Look. My thing to you is that look. The biggest problem, the biggest problem that we have as black people is that we like to exclude each other. So the way that you are adamant about, oh, you have to do this and do that to be considered a black person. Other people have their own standards. For example, for you, let me just finish. For you, for example, for you, some people might exclude you and say, oh, nah, he's not black because he's got mixed skin or he's light skin.
I'm going to meet you for 5 seconds.
Let me meet you for 5
seconds, then jump in, brother, yeah? Here's what it is. This is why when I speak, I talk about open door elitism. Because what happens, the unsynchronized black person will come in and they'll talk about, once again, have you noticed that when we talk about black business and black marriage, it goes there, right? Here's what it is, yeah? Open door elitism is what we show with the afro going across thingy. A small number, and in those black people, there would have been light, dark, African, whoever, in that small group in America, and they said, here's the idea, here's the agenda, and you said yourself, it just went across everywhere, yeah? That's how it works. But what we can't do is we can't be talking with the sad African and the glad African. If I go to Africa, this is the ideology. Right now in Africa, foreign ideas are in Africa, as in a European variant of Christianity or an Arab variant of Islam, right? And they practice it, right? And they practice it as much. So they once again, they are following something that was given. So you can give something. If they think it's good, they follow it, right? So it's like this. Having a smaller number make a bigger choice is what we're doing. Now, the question is, who is going to be that smaller number? And we're saying, by the way we're talking, it won't be you. But because this is our thing, but you're doing something, innit? Your thing is what? You're trying to find allies to work with, and that's your solution. So you should do that. And when you start making progress, we'll jump on board. And when we start making progress, you can jump on board.
But you're saying that I can't jump on board because of the division that you've put me in. Like, you've basically alienated me and said, nah, this Black Betterment.
The thing is this, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm talking about a concept. So it's like this, right? If I say my concept is veganism, yeah, and if in order to be a vegan, with this concept, you cannot consume animal products, right? And so that's it. It makes no sense for go, but you've put me in a box. You put me in a meat eating box. But what if I wanted to be a vegan but eat meat? It's like, there is a reason, there are rules. But if you do what you do, but you will not qualify for this, because by knowing who is a vegan, we can make certain institutions for vegans to do this thing. Black Betterment, Black veganism is a lifestyle, right?
Okay.
You can practice it, but you have to do these things, because here's the issue. If you type in pro-black on Google, the first thing that comes up is, can I marry a white person and be pro-black? So already the very definition of pro-black has been compromised, right? But people don't even know. That's why rules are important. Now, when it comes to light skin, dark skin, African Caribbean, we say, we don't practice colorism. We understand lineage and different ethnic groups, and it's not an issue. We don't care, because we understand it's all a social construct from some standpoint. And we understand it's a social contract that has been deliberately targeted by anti-black racists, right? Historically, right? So by being clever like other collective groups, we come together and we work on solutions. But that can't be for everyone. So it's establishing who. Now, I'm going to tell you the lifestyle.
Bro, I say two things and then you go for five. But it's your show.
But this is the Black Betterment. So if we're not teaching Black Betterment, then that's what happens.
All right. Let me just respond right quick, and then I'll get off, to be honest.
Yeah. Look, can you see the screen?
Yeah, I can see it, man.
The left one is one that is what you're arguing, right? Do you think you could do the right one?
What? So, bro. So let's just go back and forth, me and you, and just have a conversation right quick, bro. You know, if that's okay, you know, I'll get off.
Yeah, I have asked a question, but if you feel that your question is more poignant, go ahead.
Because basically, like, you know, I had my point, but like, you know, you cut me off 2 seconds.
Go right, brother. You gotta make notes. If you make notes, you will never forget.
So basically, what I'm saying is, basically, what I'm saying is, the difference between what you're doing and what I think that, you know, because when I came on the show, I don't know what's the title again. It says, "What can we do to?" What's the title? Because I'm on StreamYard right now. I can't see the title of the show.
The title of the show was, give me 5 seconds just to read it correctly. No need for non-black allies.
And what about the betterment part?
No, that's not the today's topic is about black health and the non-need for black allies.
Okay, I thought we were looking for solutions, because I thought you were advertising like solutions, because I remember I posted in the comment, I was like, yo, I think this is what we should do for Black Betterment. You posed a question like that, and so that's why I came on. But this is what I'm saying though, right?
Is that hold on, bro, because you've been taught. I've been listening, and that, all due respect, what I find very strange, bro, is that whenever an African descendant who's on code questions another African descendant
on
who's
code
not,
on whose code? On whose code?
But if you allow me to finish, right?
On whose code though?
It's like we believe. Hold on, brother. It's like we believe that we shouldn't be critiqued. You see what I'm saying? If there is a football team, brother, if you can put that up, brother, the presentation of the football team, right? You can get that up. And in this presentation, like, in order to be in the football team, to win the team, etc., and that everyone has to be on code. If someone's not
now, this is my thing. On whose code? On what code?
Brother, I've just come on the mic, brother, and you're taking it away like the wind, brother. I just don't understand. You know what I mean?
Because I'm going through the same thing. I just tried to get my point out, and you just interrupted me. I started talking about on code.
But if you've been doing the sermon, brother, for an hour and I've been listening, and I just want to have a little bit of a drop of a word, brother, and you cut in. It's like you want to have the more of the mic.
Because
See?
you're not even, listen, you're saying a lot of things
But-
out of response without even understanding what I'm talking about.
Because,
You know what I'm
brother,
saying? This is the
I
second time you've done that.
brother,
Hold
you're
on, brother,
saying
brother,
that
let
cannot be
brother
received.
Cal speak and then respond.
This is what I'm saying, brother, right? Everybody, brother, has a code of conduct conforming to the best interest of the agenda. You see? So if there's a football team, right, and the football team wants to play against another football team, right, in order for them to win, they've got to be on code. You're not conforming to that team, then the team will say, you know what, you're messing up right now. You're going to dissever our kinship of need to play, so you have to go. But you, brother, you don't like that. And I'm saying, brother, you're not on code. You're making the non-African brother who has no best interest for African people. He talks about Africans housing Turks, etc. and that, but he's exploiting Somali people because the Turks exploit Somali people and that help out Somalia. That's that battle from there. And you're agreeing with him, brother, where his people, right,
Let me know when I
discriminate
can respond.
and deny
Please.
or control African human rights in Turkey. This is why we say you're not on code, brother.
Let me know when. Can I respond now? I'm not on code because I agreed with something that the brother said from Turkey. Is just to clarify before I respond. Is that what you're saying? What did I agree with him about exactly?
Brother, you have been consistently shooting down every concept of trying to work with black people. You've always tried to interject non-black people and stuff. And we're
The
saying
guy was questioning it and
lifestyle,
giving great
Make sure
examples of it not working. How
yeah.
like it's a very narrative way of you.
5 seconds. Hold on. What we're saying is this, yeah.
Bro, that's naughty, you know. You
5
don't.
seconds. 5 seconds, because you've done
5 seconds.
5 seconds, yeah. It's like this, right? We're trying to show you patterns, right? And the pattern is we're trying to have tangible, easy steps, yeah, of solutions. And everything we say, you say it can't be done. You can't have it with, and then you put this massive thing that we must destroy the system, find new allies, join the system, or everything's not going to work. And we're saying, how is it that other people can do it? And can there not be small steps there? You have never co-signed it. When I asked you about black economics, you're even shady on that. So we're saying, peace be with you.
5 seconds, yeah.
Peace be with you. We want you to be successful, but we have our own thing going on, and we openly identify as open door elite. It's no question, but we have to follow rules. And right now, you even rules. So go ahead. So you are off course the rules we're saying.
All right. So basically, with the peace be with you, I don't know if that's basically telling me that get off my show, but I'll get off.
No,
anyway.
It's not that. I can explain what it means. Yeah.
But all right, let me just
explain what it means, John, because remember you're saying something that isn't
my
accurate.
point. I'll lose my point. I
You
understand.
I write mine down. You gotta write that because I write mine down. Yeah. My point is this: if you are going to help black people, peace be with you, right? And we won't be with you doing it. We'll be there being helped by osmosis by it, and vice versa. Does that make sense? Go ahead.
Okay. All right. So basically, what I'm saying is, first let me respond to the other brother that I don't know why he's even critiquing me in terms of and bringing up the Turkish brother and what he was saying and bringing up Turks ill-treating Somalians, and I don't know what he's talking about when it comes to that. If say, the Turkish brother says the sky is blue, and I say, yeah, I agree with that. I mean, if you think that's a problem, that's on you. All right, now to get back to what you're saying, when I look at this situation, right, I'm looking at you and trying to see what are you talking about, because I remember when I came on here, basically, I think you posed a question and said, what do you guys suggest, or let's get some ideas for the Black Betterment, right? And I even posted one of my solutions in the chat. Somebody told me, yo, go come up on stage or whatever and add your 2 cents. And that's why I actually came up here. So basically what I'm saying is that the thing that I'm talking about, peace be with me, I'll go and do my own thing, right? Because I'm passionate about it. I'm always gonna do it. That's why I was like, yo, who are you to say who's pro-black and who's not? But anyways,
it's somebody saying, who are you to say that I'm a marshmallow? Brother,
no, it's all good.
I want you to be successful. I want you. And brother, let me say this. Let me know if it makes any sense. If me and you were in a building and you ask for help, why would I not want to help you, right?
And this
Vice versa, right? Vice versa, right? Yeah, right.
yeah, vice versa, yeah, of course.
Okay, so and the thing is, you don't know who I am. I suspect you have no idea who I am, right?
No.
So I debate in a place in the UK called Speaker's Corner, right? And I've debated some of the most, left wing, right wing, up and down black people. But behind the scenes, even though we argue and we throw things, it really is a lot. And they will tell you that even though they can't join me in certain aspects, right? I help them in what they're doing because that's my best, right? So
you see, but this is the thing, right? Is what I'm saying is that with the way I look at Black Betterment means the betterment of black people, any black person, every black person. You see,
me too.
And I include everybody in that. But what you're doing is you're alienating a lot of black people, man. And I feel that's something that has to hold on. Let me just finish. Let me just finish.
Go ahead.
Let me just finish. And I think that is something that has to be challenged. You feel me? And so when I challenge that, it's out of love. It's not out of disrespect. It's not out of.
I think you're
You're lucky he doesn't mute you.
Yeah, I think your interpretation of what's happening isn't correlating with the truth, right? And what I'm saying,
you said I'm not on code.
Your truth.
Bro.
You're right, my truth, right? The Black Betterment truth. Now, here's what it is, right?
No, just your truth.
I'll be you for 5 seconds. You can jump in afterwards, right?
I'd about stop doing that, man. You know what? Come onto the show to give you a bit of support.
No, it's not cool. And what you've done is you've caused confusion.
Literally arrogant.
Yeah, you've caused confusion, and you're very good at it. But we're going to skip you.
No. I'm asking you questions. And
yeah, you're very good.
Bro, don't do that, bro. No, Trust me, don't do that. You think I don't know where Speaker's Corner is?
Yeah, that's good. I don't know what that means, but good luck. All right. So here's what it is. Yeah.
There's no need for threatening.
Yeah.
Is that what that was?
What you do this to a person? What do you expect people to do, bro? Treat people with respect, man.
All right, let's get back to
this is important. Please. So brother, easy bands. What the brothers do is very important, right?
Yeah.
Me and you are trying to find a consensus on a show that's about black people, right? So
yeah.
We say the priority must be black people because we're the most collectively inadequate in this stage, which we've all agreed on, whether you're Canada, America, UK. We have a man who's run up his mouth to the sideline and saying, brother, I'm just going to meet you because we're trying to drug. And he says he's now done what I think he's interpretation of a threat.
Let's get back to the topic, bro. So
what I'm saying is that's fine, and I want you to threaten that. It makes sense because I'm trying to paint the picture of black people having no friends, so you're contributing, right? So you carry on. But I'm saying,
you sound like a Jew, bro.
Do that.
You kick someone and you go, "Oh, you threatened me."
No, brother, you're interrupting it. This is not your show. Make a Turk Betterment show, and I won't be joining it because I'm not Turk. But do then, right? But right now, black people are trying to build to find solutions.
The ones that got there, you mean?
Yeah, but you're causing confusion and you're threatening people who are trying to
by giving examples to you.
Yeah. So what is it? You are an agent of confusion.
Not Betterment, huh?
Yeah. But brother, you're not, like I said, I don't know what you're doing, but no, that's right.
I'm just trying to be logistical with you and be rational with you. That's what I'm trying to be. But
we have to thank the brother because he's demonstrating the purpose of the show and he's doing it
again.
But 4 seconds, like I say, save it for if you want. Maybe speak we can chop it up there, do what you're doing. Yeah? But what I'm saying is, easy brother.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, it's basically having rule sets, right? But and that's how organizations work. You follow certain rules to do certain things. Now, if you don't follow the rule, remember the rule ain't saying that you have to be this, that, and the third. It's like these are the rules because these are what we've researched is the best way to think. But if you can't, and there's many ways you can't, then you can do what you're doing in isolation at the same time. So we're all moving toward the same goal, but using different strategies. So we're saying all black people are welcome, but in order for us to be synchronized, we need to have a strategy or a template. And this is a strategy and template. Yeah.
But this is the thing though, brother.
I remember, but I'm just gonna end it by saying this. I showed 2 diagrams, right? One is what we call the Black Betterment, and that is something that most black people are never going to want to be, right? What? The dedication to black love and have a black partner? Never. What? Dedication to black economics? Never. Dedication to black people and people important skills? Never. Join and create black networks for black better? Never. But what I can do, and this is where you become a black better builder, I can do one activity, and that one activity is I create an institution or a school or a football team that's just for black kids, just for black girls, just for black people, and it's developing black people in this field for that thing. When I do that, I'll be seen as a Black Betterment builder, right? That's where, because remember, what I'm promoting is the lifestyle. I'm not promoting the institution, because the institution has to be made by people who practice the lifestyle. But I'm saying in the interest I make, we have rules. And part of the rules is you have to be a Black Betterer. Yeah. If you're not a Black Betterer, then it's a pro bono, meaning you're a Black brother, you want help and I'm helping your business out. And I do that all the time, right? But I'm saying this is the most open. This is the most I can ever think of, because every collective group, everything has rules. But when I talk to many Black people, they don't have rules, and then they start making themselves the enemies, right? Not the enemies. Together on different.
So can I ask you before I even respond? Let me just ask you, like, what's your research based on that? This is the best thing to do is put these sets of rules on your members for you guys to be successful. What's that research based on?
So the research is based on looking at what ancestors have told us that's worked, and we continue it. Also observing other people groups and seeing what works for them. And you collate all this information and you form frameworks that make it easier. But you have to also remember that Black people are dealing with trauma, bad marketing, self-esteem issues, lack of education. So all that has to be included when they're trying to find a way forward.
Can I ask a follow-up? All right.
Go ahead.
So you said basically you're basing it on our ancestors and also other groups. So which ancestors do you mean? Do you mean like the Egyptians, or do you mean
I'll explain. So right now we're talking about Black Betterment. So we're actually talking about a social construct of Black people identifying as Black or African collectively and working towards it. So you have to look at the Pan-Africans, you have to look at the B1s, you have to look at the Francis Cress Wellstons, the Claude Andersons, the Neely.
Which one's doing great at the moment?
I don't. Was that the sabotage stuff? Is that the sabotage? Maybe. You have to look at the
Bro, I'm asking you a question, man. Which one is doing?
Yeah, cool. We'll talk to you in 5 seconds. So can you see what I'm saying? As in the scholars.
Again, I ask you, which ones are doing good that you've taken the case studies from, bro? It's a nice, simple question, cuz. I'm not being nasty here, man. Stop taking it so negatively, you butthurt bitch.
African is legacy, and all of the African.
This is good. So hold on. Because your name calling, we have to remove you. Sorry, brother. Because your name call, we can't. We can bring you back, but we said before, don't name call. Right? It isn't for me, because nothing you say can offend me, because the condition you're in, we haven't got any kind of rapport. So that, but wait, is because we have people watching, you're creating a scenario that's so good. So I'm going to put you back, because this is the banter. We do welcome non-Black people to do the banter, but try not to practice anti-Black racism.
Brother, I don't want to sound horrible, but you've got to allow someone. I've literally asked you a decent question, and you've literally muted me. Like, what are you expecting people to do?
Hold on, we're in the middle of a build.
And bro, I've asked you a question on the relevant subject that you're talking about.
All right, so here's
on the case studies that you made, which one was successful? Is the question that you asked, and you muted me.
Every single one.
Bro, please, man.
Every single one of them. Every single one. Here's why.
Well, right? Which one? Which one's doing good at the moment?
First of all, these people are passed away. They're taking their books, and so we're talking about scholarship, right? We understand that. Remember, no matter what, so the people listening at home, no matter what I say, the non-Black person who said it's self-sabotage without even knowing, right? He will.
Mate, stop doing this sabotage business, man. I'm asking you a question, man. It's not sabotage, man. Stop narrating like that, bro.
Look at his face, right? Look at his face. He's very entertaining. This is important. This is why.
That's naughty, cuz, man.
Yeah, look, I don't know what.
No, bro, you know what you are. I'm telling you.
Back on, right? Cool. And this is how it works. Brother, we can't hear you taking you off the platform, but we'll put you back in 5 minutes so we can observe your case study of trying to mistreat Black people. Anyway, what is happening? I'm sorry, brother, easy bands, because what we do in this show is because the show is about not having white allies in doing constructive work. He's doing a good point, but unfortunately, we can't get the case study back because it keeps coming in. What we're saying is what he's doing is what we're trying to teach, right? So, and we're saying that we're constantly trying to find solutions, and everyone's just shooting down. So, what have they done? Why are they doing that? And the only solution he's going to care is let's come together and work together as one. But we're saying that actually other groups worked it themselves as one and did really well, right? Now, I don't want this brother, the guy from Turkey, to think that anything we're doing is in his bad faith. I generally think he, in his own way, is trying to do something constructive, but sadly, he's conditioned to be self-sabotaging. And what I'm saying is, it's almost like having like you go to a building with women who's been abused by men, right? And then you have a horny man in that building. He might not want to offend those women, but just by the nature of the scenario he's going through. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Let me just say this right quick, brother.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to give you a flowers right quick and say, man, you know, I appreciate you hosting the show and even your patience, man, you know, because, you know, a lot of times when topics like this, which are sensitive, occur, you know, tempers flare and stuff like that. But you've been a gracious host, to be honest, man. So,
brother, let me say, you conduct yourself in the most elegant manner, and I respect it, and I look forward to more of it. And just so you know, just to really iron out, right? You obviously don't know who I am. Yeah, the brother, the Turkish, he knows because he knows where to find the threatening, right? But you don't. And I can say this, right? That every time black people come together, there's always disagreements. But every black person who we've had crazy disagreements, we find ourselves in the same room doing some kind of work. Yeah. But what we have to say is this, right? There's also going to be work we do together and we do with special things. So, for example, the Nation of Islam, they're a particular group, right? And they work with so many other people. However, there's certain things they only do with the Nation of Islam because they understand their own code. Does that make sense? Yeah,
makes sense.
I'm not the Nation of Islam, but I respect them, and I love the fact that they have time to work with the great collective and individuals. Black Betterment, the lifestyle is the same thing. There's certain codes of conduct that we have to work with only back because of certain rules, but there's certain initiatives that's for everyone. And then we've even got 2 stages of betterment where one, you just have to do one thing. Just one thing.
Okay, you know what? I think I understand what you've been trying to get across to me. You know, and that was a good thing that you talked about the Nation of Islam. So that's a good way of making me understand what it is, you know, because the way I was looking at it as a whole encompassing movement that, you know, just us black people, like Black Betterment, you know. I didn't know that it's like an organization that you're making like a what is it, the Nation of Islam, like that with rules, etc.
Let me add it, because and the way I want to see it is like this, right? You know, veganism.
Veganism, no, the Nation of Islam example was perfect, bro. I understand.
But I'm going to even expand even more because it's a new concept that some people might not understand fully. The Nation of Islam is important but the Nation of Islam is an institution based upon ideology, right? We're saying that we've got an ideology or a lifestyle, more correct, a lifestyle, right? And veganism is a perfect example. With veganism, there is no leader. Yeah, there's people pop up and down, but because the lifestyle is dictated, you either follow it, you don't, right? But also, vegans want the world to be good, right? Black betterers, we want black people to do well, right? And we have a method of doing it. And the concentrated method is to work with people with the same Black Betterment fundamental lifestyle. But we do pro bono work where we go with any black person to do good. But we understand they're not going to fulfill the full list because it's too intense, right? Right. So what I'm saying is, and that's why, but what I'm saying is, even though we say that, some black people say we still don't want to do anything to do with it. So what we say is, peace be with you. Yes, as long as you're constructive with black people, do that, and we'll meet at the finish time when we've both done our duty.
That was that was it makes perfect sense. The only confusing thing was that I was confused because I didn't look at it what you're presenting as, maybe just because this is my first time actually hearing you talk about this.
Let me and I saw Brother Carol, thank you, because what you've done that's very important is we obviously have different ideas here and there, we have different upbringings, right? But as gentlemen and as people who generally care about our people, we're trying to work together to find solutions, right? And this is why I have to thank you, and I also have to thank the Turkish brother, because by him constantly being jumping and jumping and making the threats, he's demonstrating why we have to be in isolation when we're doing this. Because from my observation of 20 years of doing this, I've never seen it different. I've never seen it different. Once you identify that you want to do a solo thing for an inward building solution, you get non-black people with a rage. And the first thing is how dare you, and then it comes down to, all right, I'm going to I'm going to do this, do that, sabotage, and I'm going to, like, the brother threatened me for muting him. Yeah, a name call. On the show that's called Black Betterment, and I'm the host. Yeah. So this is all case study. But brother, we have to go because we've gone past the time. But it'll be good to meet us next week. King Kel, did you want to have any final kind of says?
No, I'm going to say it's a good case study observation. Big up to the Son brother from Canada and also the other guy, because, you know, we have to assess things to give political analysis for our people in order for us to strive. So great show once again, and Black Betterment to everyone.
Word.
And brother, when we come and leave the show, we say Black Betterment just as it's a way to remind us that we're working towards betterment. So Black Betterment to you, brother. Yeah?
All right, Black Betterment, fam.
Have a good one, fam.
All right, you too. Peace.